What's up, honey love? What's up, girl? What's up, love, honey love? I see you. What you doing, Red Sonia? What's up, Sonia? Fat Mama Sonia. What's up, Fat Mama Sonia? What's up, Fat Mama Sonia? What's up, Mayday? Lord Mayday. What's up, boy? What's up, Lord Mayday? What's up, my boy Doc? What you say, Doc? What you say, Doc? What you say, Doc? It's my big boy, Doc. What you say? All right, welcome back to another week, another episode of Gamedog Talk. Seemed like since forever we did this show. You know, we missed a couple of them, man. But salute to the chat. We back in the building, and of course, we got the panel. We got the legendary schoolboy, Mr. Richard Garcia. How you doing today, schoolboy?
I'm doing good, thanks. Glad to be back. Salute to everybody in the chat.
Yes, sir. And we got the legendary Only in America Kennels, Bakri in the building. What's up, brother Bak?
How you doing, my dear brother, and hi to all the brothers that's here with us.
Salute, salute. And of course, we got Welcome Down Ram, Big Steppin'. What's happening, Ram?
What up, though? Salute to everybody, man. Hopefully everybody made it through the holidays a couple pounds heavier. You feel me?
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. I know I did, man. So I went into my mama's house, 180, came out 300. Easy. Yeah, man. But check it out. Let me scroll up and do a quick roll call. See what we got up in here. Bank statement, Bulldogs. What's happening, man? Mark Wonderlunch in here. Todd Green. Y'all gotta help me with this one again. El Dios de los Perros.
El Dios de los Perros.
Yeah, El Dios de los Perros. I'm a master it, though. I'm gonna get it down.
Yeah, you'll get it.
Ezel Henry, salute. Dogman RT, salute, man. AJ, Miami Snoopy 305 in the building. CD Sean, Dogman D, Mo Boxing, Robert Shan, Newton Arnold, Brother Kendrick Kendall's in here. Roll Up, Mozzie Nation. What's that? AI Kennels, SBO Kennels, Mike Lee,
Mike,
704 Troy, F. Cervantes. Let's see here. James Bronson. And salute to everybody in the building, man. Salute to all y'all that's up in here. Christian, I see you.
There's somebody puppies turfed up.
Salute to everybody in the building. I see you, Brown Sugar, Tay Brown up in here. Salute everybody. All right, we're gonna start getting to the first topics that we got. First order of business. First question that we had was the difference between a skinny dog and a well-conditioned dog. We talked about this before, but how can we tell the difference? Let me start with you, Brother Bakri.
Okay, the question was, how can we tell the difference between the skinny dog and a conditioned dog?
Yes, sir.
Well, I mean, you know, they both can have the top of their spine showing, but I mean, it's very easy to tell. I look at first of all, the hair. When I see the hair, the dullness of the hair is not the sheen. The different. Normally, when I got a worked out dog, I'm gonna see that line across the side and the different muscularity in the body, even though we down thin. And then some people bring them thinner than others. So you can tell a dog is not eating. Like I said, it's kind of easy to tell just by them. There's normally no muscularity in anything in terms of a skinny dog. Now we talking about a skinny dog that's undernourished or just thin dog, period.
Yeah, I think he's talking about probably undernourished.
I mean, I don't want to sound like, but I mean, I don't see how a person can't tell the difference between a thin, that's just like a thin person and one who's muscular. Or, or one that could be still slim like that person, but with muscularity compared to a person who looks
like Bruce Lee versus like Lazy Bone,
Right. I mean, That's what I'm saying. It's kind of self-explanatory. I'm trying to understand. Like one, like I said, I've never seen a dog who's slim look like a dog that's worked out. And then you have you guys, yeah, you know what I'm saying. So you're gonna tell the difference. That's what I'm saying. We like I.
You there, brother Bot? Think you lost signal a little bit. Ram,
Probably
go
got
ahead.
a call. Well, like Brother Bach was saying, I look for like, oh, you back, bro?
Yeah, I'm listening.
Okay, there you go. Okay.
Oh, all right. I look for that lat line too. You know, you see that line
That's what
going
I
down
said.
the side. Yeah,
Right.
that's what I. Yeah,
Correct.
that's what I said. Like you were saying, that's what I look for.
First thing.
Yep. Sometimes you can see the spine on them. Sometimes you can't.
Correct.
That don't, really hurt them. I prefer to have mine with those, two muscles running, side by side next to the spine, one on each side. But some dogs don't got that muscle, no matter how much work you put into them. So you can't go by that. Does the hair look brittle and dull like OG Bach was just saying? That's a good indicator. And the skin will look saggy on the body. It'll look like it's like, especially around the stomach area. It'll look like them old hood rat titties. That's what it'll look like. For real. Whereas the in shape dog, it'll be, tucked in. And you will see it, form into the ball on his hip and go down to his stifles.
Yes, sir. Okay.
Yeah.
Schoolboy, what's your take on that?
Yeah. What they're saying, one of a good indicator is the hip bones, on back of the bone. You know, if they're in good shape, there's muscle on each side of that bone, even if it's protruding a little bit and it's got a good covering skin over it. If not, they just skinny. It's just bones sticking up. The first time I seen Ronnie Anderson condition a dog, I consider him one of the top, right? My comment when I came back, I wrote an article about it. My comment was, you could see every bone on that dog's body, and every bone was covered with muscle. That's just my way of putting it. Sometimes their face will be sunk in. Even a dog that's conditioned and they're down in weight. So like Bach was saying, some people, go in lighter, some people condition them heavier, whatever. But their head should be full no matter what. Even the top of their head, sometimes you can see a separation of muscle. And when they're chewing food, you can see that muscle moving, But when they're malnourished, or sickly, it's almost like they're sickly. When they're malnourished, there's no muscle definition, like Bach and Ram was saying.
Right.
It's just, they're flat, And the first thing he said was, the coat. That tells you right off, man. Any dog that's conditioned, any dog that's healthy, regardless of what you feed them, if they ain't all dusty, rolling in dirt and this and that, there's a sheen, there's a sparkle to their hair, especially when the sun hits it. You can see it. It's shiny, and a malnourished, sickly dog don't have that. Their eyes will be sunk in, if they're malnourished, Even conditioned dogs, if you go too far down, they'll look like that too. They might have a shiny coat, but their head is sunk in, and their eyes are sunk in, like what would be their temple. There should be muscle everywhere on that dog, even their damn tail, their toes muscle up, even, you can feel it, you can see them, And if you get to put your hands on them, you'll see that malnourished dog. They're soft. A well-conditioned dog, hard muscle most of the time, So it's like looking at like Ram said, it's like looking at Bruce Lee compared to a Holocaust victim,
Right.
One looks sick. They both thin. One looks sick. One looks healthy.
Facts.
And like I said, even who we was saying lazy bone or whatever we were talking about, he not undernourished or sick either. It's just a difference of the body. Right, he's skinny still, but healthy. You understand? So that's why I said, are we trying to talk about a malnourished looking dog to a slim, work-looking dog because it's too broad and what I'm thinking they trying to mean. Because other than that, it's self-explanatory. I mean,
Yeah,
you can.
I think they mean malnourished because they you know, they show pics and they make that comparison all the time. This is a
right.
sick,
That's why
you
I
know,
said
sickly dog. Yeah,
right.
you got it. You got it.
Right. That's why
what
I
it
said
was.
he had. That's why he had to mean malnourished. But I
Yeah.
wish he just would have said, "What is the difference between a thin, malnourished dog and a thin work dog?" That way, we could have been specific to it rather than just going with the. You know what I mean? There's a lot of
Yeah,
skinny people who's not malnourished. There's a lot of skinny
that's
people who are
right.
not sick. Then we got skinny people who's malnourished, and the dog worked, and we can tell the difference in that. You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Salute to TJ Fisher in the super chat. Much love and much
TJ,
appreciation.
what's up?
What
brother?
up, homie? That's the homie right there. There's a lot of history in that dude. We got to get him on the show, bro.
Yes,
Yeah.
indeed.
sir.
Yeah.
TJ Fisher back in that super chat. He says, "I love listening to conditioning and to conditioning conversations." Salute to
Yeah,
you.
he's only saying that because he was good at it.
Hell yeah. Yeah. That's a conditioning motherfucker in his day,
Yeah.
for real.
Yeah.
Salute to Meredith Campbell in the super chat. Salute, brother. He says, salute to 7-8 for having these brothers on Gamedog Talk. The knowledge being shared here is truly awesome. Thank you again. Thank you, bro. Appreciate the support.
Yes, sir.
Salute, Meredith.
Salutes to the brother.
Hell yeah, that's the homie right there. Salute, fam.
Yes, indeed. Okay, another question they asked was, what were some great big dogs over 55 pounds? We can start with you, Brother Bach. Any big dogs you remember off the top of your head?
To be honest with you, when I got, I didn't get a chance. I didn't really do no big dogs that size. I probably be the wrong one, and I can't even tell you with all of the travels I've done, that I actually even seen any, big
Right.
dogs. And I'm gonna just say this: when I got into the dogs, it was told to me the best dogs is the ones that's 20-something pounds, 30-something pounds. And as they get 40-ish, at the high 40s and 50s, they become more curve type like. They don't. So the best dogs was in the 20-pound range, is in the 30-pound range, and in the 40s, right? So they was like they start getting less heart as the bigger they got. So I just stayed away from big ass dogs. I said, well, I pretty much want to stay where the competition and the real good bulldogs at. Then they also said if you can get you a good big dog, it's hard to beat because most of them will quit at the first sign they get bullied. So now, how much truth is to that? I can't tell you because I never worked with big dogs, and I can't tell you that I've seen one at a show that it was at 55 pounds over. So I'll be the wrong person to talk to. You might want to talk to somebody else. I'm sorry.
Oh, no problem, Mo. Ram, any big dogs? Some good big dogs you seen?
Hell yeah. Yantis is one of them. Red Jack is another. Fucking, there's a couple. It's one old Big B had a few years back. That big motherfucker, like 72 pounds in shape. Bulldog, big old horse motherfucker. But like OG Bach was just saying, you don't see a lot of good big dogs, let alone just big dogs like that. Another one coming to mind too would be old Spartan off of MACHOBUCK. He was a big motherfucking good game ass dog. Like came back from way behind to fucking go for the finish, real good big dog. But it's not a lot of big dogs just running around. It's big dogs. The game give you its ebb and flow. You might be in the game now and the little dogs is cracking. Get in, 5 years from now everybody got good medium size to a little bit bigger dogs, and so on goes with the big dogs. Every few years, that cycle just repeat itself. And I don't know, I stayed away from the big dogs too, just 'cause I don't like feeding them big motherfuckers, man. Like them hoes eat a whole goddamn 50-pound bag of dog food by themselves, like my dog Champion King would. He is a big old motherfucker, like 68 in shape. After that, I just got turned off from just owning them big motherfuckers because he threw a whole bunch of big dogs too, even when I bred them the little bitches. the motherfucker was still goddamn 50+ pounds.
Right. Mr. Garcia, what's your take on big dogs? You seen any?
Well, Big Red was a 54. You know, he was pretty good. Another one, he was a 54 dog named Sumo. He was an Eli bred dog. He went against an Alligator bred dog. So they were both big dogs. That went 2 hours and 20 minutes. That was a good show. In history, Alligator himself was a 57 and catch weight. Butcher Boy, champion Butcher Boy, was a 57. Mayday, of course, was in the 60s, I think, you know. But like Bach and Ram were both saying, you know, it's kind of, I always looked at it kind of like boxing, you know. Most of the lighter weights are more action, better, you know, you get the middleweight, even light heavyweight, you know, they hit hard enough to impress you, but they still, you know, not slow and sluggish, you know, the top guys, you know, you get down to the lightweights and all that, a lot of fast action. Same thing with the dog, you know, and some of them with the dogs, they, you know, even being small, they could still do their thing, you know, they were strong and rough, bite hard and all that. But heavyweight boxers, you know, a lot of them ain't that good, you know. But when you get a good one that's big like that, it's impressive because everything's enhanced. The sound is enhanced, the movement is enhanced, the speed is enhanced, you know. So I would say because of the nature of the breed, they're not generally big like that, you know. Colby's Pinscher was a big dog, you know. There's some of them, Sadler's, Rebel, I think, you know. There's just not a lot of them. But when you get one and it's good, they're impressive, you know. But the nature of the breed is not really that big a dog. They're not anomalies. There's a lot of big dogs been around. Blackjack Jr., you know, he was a 58 and he gave up 10 pounds sometimes to dogs, you know, just a killer. But the average size is, you know, high 20s up until the low, you know, mid 40s, you know.
Right.
And that's just because the breed type, you know, it's not a, you know, it's not a big dog generally, but you get them. There's been some, you know,
Eli and Bully Son and Eli Jr., they was pretty big dogs too, though.
Yeah, they advertised to match anywhere from 49 to 53, you know. So you know, they just thought they were so good they could cover that weight, and they did, you know. But they were more 49, 50 pounders, still big dogs, you know. A lot of the Alligator dogs are big, you know. Some of the Eli dogs are big, you know. I'm trying to think. You know, Brandy was big too. She was like a 50-pound female. Havana Boys champion Maggie was a 50-pound female. You know, they're big females too. There's just not a lot of them, you know. And for me, some people actually like the bigger dog. And what I've noticed is the bigger the person, they tend to like the bigger dog because they don't have to bend down so low to pick them up, you know. I'm not that big, I'm not that tall, so I prefer the smaller one. It'll play hell on your back if you gotta handle 10 or 15 times, man.
Hell yeah, that's like breaking up two big motherfuckers fighting.
Yeah, you know. You see them little referees have, you know, they have trouble separating them heavyweights, man. They got to get in there and do it. So
yeah, remember.
Let me, if you don't mind, let me ask on the same topic, since some of our good brothers here have either had some of them or saw some of them. So how would you look at them in regards to the ones on the smaller weight? Not so much like you were just saying, Brother Garcia, in terms of speed and technical skills and things of that nature. I'm talking about in terms of heart. Were you able to notice that when you do get one particular big dog, it was easy for them to run through a lot of other bigger dogs, or you found
it's kind of exactly what you were saying, you know.
Okay.
A lot of them, whatever the reason, there's not a lot of them that I seen, you know, or you know, studied about, or you know, looked at, read reports or all that were game, you know. So a lot of the good big ones, yeah, they could run through them because
That's what
the
they told.
competition,
Right.
yeah, the competition wasn't there. The
Right.
quality wasn't there, you know.
Right.
So it's
Yeah, there's
if
not
you're a
enough dog in them big dogs.
yeah, if you're a heavyweight fighter, that's why a lot of them, if they hit hard, they'll run through a bunch of guys, knock them all out first 2-3 rounds, you know. And
Right.
it's the same way with the dogs. They'll run through them, but when you do get one like that Sumo and I forgot the other dog's name, that was a good show, man. They were slam banging, you know.
Right.
And like I said, it went 2 hours and 20 minutes. Showed heart and all that, you know. Legs weren't working right and all this and that, but again, you know, off the top of my head, that just one match that I saw. Big Red, his opponent was a good one. That was quick. His opponent was game, but you're right, it doesn't seem to follow that pattern like a lot of the little dogs, you know, going a long time, showing a lot of heart. You know, a lot of them they quit fast, man.
Right. Yeah, that was my So okay, well,
yeah, you right.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Meredith Campbell, salute to you in the super chat. Back in there, he says, my only experience has come with the alligator dogs I got from Gary Hammond's, so I'm biased to those big hound dog looking bulldogs. Salute to you, Meredith. Appreciate that, man.
Well, let me just say, now his dogs, from what I did hear, if I was gonna get a big dog, I heard highly of the alligator and stuff. You know, the Hammond's dogs. They were pretty nice big dogs. If I was to get one, that would have been one I would have got into back then, by the way. So shout outs to Brother Hammonds and his line, that he was using,
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, they were the alligator bully son crossing, man. Those are some good dogs. Some of them were
hell
bigger
yeah,
size, like high 40s, you know.
Right.
And I'm sure they had some, heavyweights too. But you would think, them dogs are, because of the blood, they're going to be rough and strong. They are, but they smart too. There's something about them, the way a lot of DIBO blood, but they could do like, all around dog type, that champion Brutus, he was off of Rufus to a bully son bitch. And he was like a 48 pounder, good dog, man. Real good dog.
Yeah, I had a big old alligator REDBOY bitch too. She just popped in my head. She was old Dennis got two, and then you know how that go. Don't all of a sudden nobody got the weight, but she was a good one. So if you is into the alligator dogs, man, bully son and REDBOY, look for them in crosses. Shit, keep your shit going.
Mm-hmm.
Smooth Monty in the super chat. Appreciate the love, man. He said, "Who are the top 5 conditioners of all time?" Let me come right back to that super chat, Smooth Monty. Let me read the other ones first and get them out the way. Salute to Greg Evans in the super chat. Much love and much appreciation. He says, super shout out to the panel. He says, hashtag, yes, sir. He says, hashtag Muddy Water Kennels. Salute. Like that name, Muddy Water Kennels.
Much love.
Yes, indeed. And salute to TJ Fisher in the super chat. He says,
yes, sir.
Champion Fatty was over 60 on the chain. He went over 2 hours 3 times. He said was a one. What's that? One in the mouth.
Yeah,
ability, intelligence, but he got 15 in gameness. All right, salute. Said Champion Fatty, huh?
Yes, sir. It's good to get a big
Yeah, that's who went into Barracuda. Who gave Barracuda hell, and that's why he didn't go out for number 10. Just off the gameness, what even really hurt is Fatty just wouldn't quit.
Right.
Yes, sir. All right. So Smooth Monty had a question of who's the top 5 conditioners in y'all opinions. What's up, Boxiana? I see you in the building. Boxiana telling me she got Can Corso. What's your take
big
on
old
that?
dog. Shit. TJ Fisher, he one of them. Once you learn this story, you'd be like, God damn, that's a conditioning motherfucker. Man, it's kind of hard to pick 5 of them, bro. It's so many, man. Fuck. And somebody else go while I think about this one.
All right, Mr. Garcia.
Yeah, well, I always put Earl Turtle up there. I never seen him, and then we talk about Mayfield and all that. Guys, I seen Mr. Gray, OTK, I'll put Bach and Ram in there, man, and TJ, of course. But people I've seen, you know, be like Mr. Gray, OTK, Ronnie Anderson, you know, Steve Hendricks was good, Tito was good, Vince,
Right.
you know, it's hard to say just pick 5 because there's so many of them, you know.
Right.
But ones I seen, they would be up there, and the reason I say that is because people like them, you know, they could show a dog 5 minutes from their house or 2,000 miles from their house. They weren't, you know, TL was good, Bobby Smith was good, you know, guys that you know, they would travel around, you know, and man, I mean, even the LA Dream Team, they were good. Manzi Payne, you know, I never seen Manzi, but you know, people that have a good reputation. Little Jim Marshall, you know, there's a lot of them.
It's kind of a hard question. It's really because it's going to be a bias, somewhat biased, or because everybody haven't seen everybody fight, you know, do a dog, so it's kind of hard. So the question should be more or less, what are the top 5 best you saw? Because that's the only way you can answer that question.
Yeah, that's true. And like for me, that's even hard because, you know, I've seen so many too. But the ones I mentioned, you know, a lot of them I went into and just beat them easy, killed them fast. Not really. I just bullshit. But yeah, that's a good point, Bart, because you know, if you've seen them or you went into them, that's the best way to judge at all. And I am biased towards my friends, you know, you know, I mean, Irish Kid, DNK1, you know, like that. But that doesn't mean that they weren't at the top. They were, you know, and you could go on people's records, you know. That's why I say Tudor, because he had such a long career. You know, and at one point he won, what was it, 25 sanctioned UKC matches in a year's time. And a lot of people don't have that through their whole life, you know. So, and he had so many dogs, you know. So
hey, that's what made me though get into it. Not to cut you off, OG, but that's why I ran my record up. So I wanted to beat that record he had for that many in a row. You feel me?
Yeah.
That was a goal.
That's what we do.
But he did that in a year.
Yeah, 1 year's time.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that was just 1 year. So, you know, if you
I ain't saying I got it. I tried to get it.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
it was worth the shot. And for a year, I got more total, but in a year, nah.
Yeah, you gotta do that. So if you take him from when he started in the early teens of the 1900s up into probably you know, the 40s, you know, a 30 maybe 40 year span that he was active himself, he probably had hundreds of them off the chain and condition sanctioned like that, you know, because they did a lot of off the chain stuff. When you see them 24-time winners, 16-time winners, a lot of them were off the chain, and some of them, you know, it was just against whatever dog they brought. Could have been a German Shepherd or a mix or something, you know, just whatever. If you had money, especially during the Depression, they was fighting dogs and chickens and running horses, whatever they could do to make any kind of money, including running booze and, you know, whatever. So, you know, they would always have their dogs kind of ready to go, show up at the cockpit. You know, Nemechek and Tudor had a cockpit that they hid birds at every weekend. Well, after the birds were done, they do dogs, you know. Even that Bad Billy, you know, he has 5 official matches. He won 4 and lost 1, but he probably has 6 or 7 or 8 off the chain stuff because they just use him off the chain. They go against anybody, any weight, any size, any dog, any whatever. So he had a lot. Even Bobby did that a couple of times. That's how I saw him, you know. I never saw his official matches, but you know, when you have a killer like that, yeah, you bet a little gold on him, you know.
Yes, sir. What do you say about that, Brother Bach? Best conditioners you've seen?
Yeah, because and just even with his original question was like, you know, like Brother Garcia said, you know, we was going with overall best what we heard, then we would be hearing what the person's probably asked the question. and that's it's going to be with Tudors and Mayfields and Danny Burtons and different people I've never seen go. I just heard they were great conditioners, but the 5 best I seen go in no particular order: Rasta Man Boone, Jackie Parker, Local Boys Tito, Ozzie Stevens, and the Cottingham.
Who was the last one?
The Cottinghams.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Durant
and Glenn Cottingham. Glenn made recipes. Yep.
Yeah. Nice.
Yes, indeed.
All famous people, man. Yeah, I forgot to mention Danny Burton. I seen him a couple of times. He was good.
Right. And so like I said, and to be honest, I never seen the So-So Boys, but everybody I heard say they stuff at the 30 minutes, so they just started.
Yeah.
So I heard they keeps was awesome. I just never seen Robbie and them go. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
But that's why I said there's so many people like we said we could mention. I just haven't seen them.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. We start thinking. I'll rattle names off. Some like I said, some I've seen, some I haven't. But there's because you're looking at at least let's say you're active for 20 or 30 years, you're going to see a lot of dudes, man. Even if you just back then, if you were just to travel around and go to stuff and not even be involved, just go and see it. There's a ton of them. Not to mention the dudes in Mexico I seen. DNK was one, but I seen Ledesma and Black Rocks and all kinds of. I can't even remember some of their names. If I see them, I know them, but I don't remember their names or their blood or anything. Most of it's Eli, anyways.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, indeed. Salute to TJ Fisher back in that super chat, showing love. Appreciate it. He naming his guys. He say Ricky, STP, Dead Serious, Tupper, Durant, and could all shape dogs. Salute to you.
I agree. And I want to say, I heard TJ Fisher was good too. I heard he was real excellent conditioner.
When I was talking with him, your dog Tyrone came up and he wanted to breed his whiskey bitch to her, but he ain't know you at the time. And he was talking to somebody who kind of knew you, he said, and he was like, man, I want to breed to her. He's like, man, that dude ain't going to fuck with you. And at the time, you had Tyrone and he had whiskey. And I was like, damn, I wish y'all would have, been able to link up to get that one done.
Hey, that would have been a good breed. I would have loved it.
Yeah, because they was both, devastating finishers. With gameness too, though,
Yeah, I would have loved that. He wouldn't have no problem breeding me. With that.
Hell yeah. That's all I was telling. Like, they probably would have bred to you. Shit, you got a good fucking dog, too.
Yep. Yeah, no bullshit.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Let's see, I got my top 5 ready, though. I had to say, the conditioner from Two Guns, he could shape one from a small ass dog with a champion blaze all the way up to a big motherfucker like the big old MACHOBUCK dog Spartan. Like, he could shape them for real when they was active. He could put one in shape. I seen Vince Romero go, but he in there for sure. He's not gonna beat him on conditioning. I don't give a fuck what you say. You're gonna have to bring a whole better dog than he got. That's 2. My partner Billy the Kid, that's who gave me the game. That motherfucker nice. He nice and technical with it, I got the technical aspect on what to do, when to give them this and all of that. Weigh the food, weigh the water. If you can, pick up the shit and weigh that too, all the way down, just so you know where you at. Exactly. Number 4, I gotta say myself, I can put one in shape pretty good, no cap. This is just going off shit I seen, for real. Right. And then, like I said, number 5 is gonna have to be TJ Fisher, just because he took everybody else's dog and made a champ with it. That's hard as fuck to do, because you didn't raise that dog, none of that. You get that motherfucker in shape and he go out and win repeatedly with different dogs. That's a hard feat.
Right.
I had to put Bach in there too, though. If you go back and listen to his story, he was saying he
let me just say this. Let me just say this. No. I'm an expert schooler. As far as conditioning I have friends of mine who are way better than me that help me do all of them. I don't have the time.
Okay, bet.
Right.
I feel you. Yeah,
So I
thanks
don't
for
put me
keeping
in
it
there.
real.
I put me in the last bracket. I got great friends that does that.
Okay.
My shit been overweight a long time. Ain't walked a first fucking mile. So no, sir.
Yes, sir.
Oh, that's funny.
Salute to the brother Smooth Monty back in that super chat showing love. He says, thanks for the response. I was hoping to get 15 different names, but got way more. Love it. Salute to you, man.
Much love.
TJ Fisher back up in that super chat. Appreciate the support, man. He says, I 100% would have bred her to Tyrone.
Oh, without a doubt. Goddamn, we could bring the bones back. We could still make it happen.
Yeah, get some DA and clone them. You know?
Yeah. That's gonna be some shit when they start cloning dogs and shit, man.
No bullshit.
All right. Then we got another question we had was what bedding does the panel prefer best when keeping the dog warm outside? Cedar chips or straw or why? Let's start with you, Ram.
Man, I ain't a good person for that. I got 2 dogs. A 16-year-old, she sleep outside under my porch on a lazy boy with a heating pad under it. You feel me? And my pup here in my fucking shop. So that nigga sleep on whatever soft. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
That nigga's probably laying on the shop towels right now, bundled up. You feel me? Like, if it get too cold, I'll bring them in the house. You know, they got them little puppy beds and shit like that, man.
Okay.
They lay on there, like, you know, I ain't a good person to ask for that.
Well, since it's 12 degrees right now out here, I tell you what I use the wood pellets. I'll use wood pellets. You know, get them same shit they use for like horse bedding and stuff like that. And then I put cedar chips or pine shavings on top of that. And then inside the doghouse, I put hay. So I use all that shit, man. Whatever to keep their asses warm. You know what I'm saying? Because can't afford
do you insulate your houses 7 to 8?
I used to. I had some that was insulated, but other than that, right now, no, I don't have insulated houses because the dogs they're out. They're not in my house, but they got an indoor setup. You know what I mean?
Right.
They got an indoor setup, so it's
good.
You know, it don't get too it don't get like, you know, below 0 up in there. It stay cold about. I think the coldest to get up in there is probably about. I think the only highest temperature I seen in there was like 38, which is still cold as hell, but it's above freezing. You know.
Yeah. Most people use either you know, they use straw or cedar chips. You know, with cedar chips, you know, if you're outside, it might not be during the winter. If you live like up northeast, you know, it might not be enough for them. You know, that's why people insulate the houses. You know, and why they use straw. But you know, if the weather's warm, the cedar chips are better because it keeps the bugs out. There's a mite or some kind of bug that gets in that straw,
right?
You know, when it's warmer weather, and that could cause a problem. That's why a lot of people use the cedar chips where it's not real cold, you know, and it's a preventative for them bugs getting in there, you know, and it's soft, you know. I use straw when I did mine, you know, and I use 7 dust too, you know, and all that, but keep the bugs off of them. But you know, there's they probably coming up with new bedding type of stuff I'm not familiar with, you know, maybe like a horse bedding, you know. It's like cattle, dairy cattle, they always use straw, you know. Now they use sand because it's better for them, you know. They don't kick it all around. It gives when they lay down. So a lot of the dairy farmers around here switch from wood bedding and straw bedding to sand, you know. So I would guess that they're probably coming up with something new for dogs too, or just a different type of bedding that would be effective on dogs, you know.
Right. Brother Bach, what did you use?
Well, like Brother Garcia said, by me coming from up north, what I did first of all, before I start with any of the bedding, when it's get colder, I start closing the entrance to my doorway from where they can get out in the summer. I start putting a board across it so they can barely get in the joint, for one, because I don't need them dragging the bedding out. If you put it with an open lip too close to the bottom of the ground, and all your shit's gonna be outside after a few good going in and out the house. So you want to go ahead and have it where they gotta almost jump up in the hole of the house, and that way the bed stays in there. Like he said, I put the 7 dust on mine because I don't want no mites or nothing on my dogs. I also put the cedar chips because it kills the bugs. But cedar chips is not gonna do shit for no cold ass drink. They shake the stuff to death. That's not anything they can bundle up in. They like to get up in that straw or hay and have it where they almost can get nestled inside of it. So like I said, I closed the lip of the house, and then when you have the dogs who not assholes, what I do is go put the flaps I nail up above the door to seat the clear drinks where they can walk in and out, and it close behind them so there's no wind that comes in. The ones that do assholes and would bite it off, I normally take I put like a tarp all the way like around it so it cuts the wind thing off with like some wood like poles, and knock the wind off all the way around there, depending where how my setup is. Like if I got the dogs all in a row, then I just set that whole thing all the way around it with tarp so that no wind can get to the dogs. So that's what I use.
Yeah. That's a windbreaker. They do that in agriculture a lot. That's why you'll see a field, whether it's vegetables or whether it's
right
nut trees or whatever. You'll see they put it on whatever they put it on, generally on the north side where I live, because the wind comes in from the north.
Correct.
It's a windbreaker and a dust breaker. So it doesn't, same concept. That's pretty good, man.
Yes, sir.
People that give you some good tips, man, might help you.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. John Smalls in the super chat. Appreciate the love, man. He says, anyone still breeding those Cottenham dogs? Sure, there are people out here breeding them.
Yes, they are. Matter of fact, there's a guy named Slim that's in North Carolina who's a good buddy of Durant's, and he has pure stuff. If anybody's looking for it, can leave some information. I can get a hold of someone that can get up with Slim to see if he'll let him go. But he's one person I know that deals with Durant on a weekly basis and has his blood.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's still around. There's older breeders that got the Cottenham dog from them, and they still breed it. It's here and there. I still see them. Some of them they'll post on my group, that have some Cottenham blood. I'm sure there's some pretty straight up.
Yeah, it's out there. It's out there. Hell, Tom Garner got it. He also got it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Pitt Island, I think, have some,
Yes, indeed.
TBK had some. Yeah.
All right. Another question we got here is historically speaking, of course, when you guys first got started back in the day, did you go into experienced dogs or rookie dogs for your dog's first time out? Let's start with you, Brother Bach.
My first show was into the Gusto Boys, famous Dogmen. Yes, I won best in show in 6 minutes. First show.
Nice.
Ooh-wee.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
6 minutes. Yes, indeed. What about you, Ram?
Shit, I'm only looking for a fucking winner or better when I was out there, man. That's the only way I'm going to see in my mind if I got a good one. So we got to be a winner, and it got to be a winner from a good camp, So that's what I always look for: win, lose, draw, or pick up. That's what I'm coming for. And it used to be easy at first, but once I got good at it, we call out the number, ain't nobody got the number. So you start having to take what you could get, And I ain't saying you just taking whoever, because when you at that level, motherfuckers know who you is. You ain't no hoe. So, you know, they bringing their best shit to come get you. You feel me? But yeah, I always look for a big name. If it's a big name and they ain't got no winners, I'm cool with it being a big, you know, big name or reputable. But if it's a big name with a winner, that's just more better for me. And then again, proven point, Yantas and Red Jack. Yantas going out for champion. Red Jack first time out. I don't give a fuck. And I seen Yantas go, so I knew how devastating he was beforehand. I want him. You know, it didn't work out for me, but I still kept doing it. You know, it worked out for me more times than not. But yeah, I always go for the best, man. The best you can find. You know.
Yes, sir. What about you, Mr. Garcia?
Yeah, well, I'd go after both. I go after whoever was. You know, a lot of time you don't get to choose if you're in a convention. You know, you put the weight out, you get who you get. You know. But I did like to go after name guys and or dogs that, you know, I was supposed to lose to or stuff like that. You know, some of them I had the opportunity to see them go, and you know, they were good dogs, and I like the competition, you know, and I like the higher level because it gives you a idea of what level your dogs are on, you know. But you know, like I said, sometimes, you know, if you're in a convention, you just put the weight out. You might go into a grand champion with your no time winner or first time winner, or champion versus champion, just like that, you know. And like with LA Dream Team, I wanted, you know, Jesse James, you know, and he was a champion. You know, other ones, Lalo's Red, he was a killer, you know, stuff like that. It just, in my mind, it kind of takes some of the pressure off because I know everybody thinking I'm supposed to lose. So it just helped me focus on my dog more, you know, make sure I got my, you know, I's dotted and T's crossed, you know.
Right.
Sometimes you get a youngster, you know, or a younger guy with not that much experience. He may have one or two dogs and he really puts everything into that dog. And he may have a mentor that helps him, or even somebody that will condition, you know, that has a lot of experience. You know, I did that too. Not me, but I went into guys that, you know, they were kind of starting out, but they'd have somebody like Big Ernie or Mr. K help them, you know, condition the dog for them. So their conditioning was there. Or they just love that dog, man, and they put everything they can into them. They raised them, all that. They got that bond with them. Sometimes they're hard to beat if it's a good dog, you know. You don't really want, you know, it doesn't mean anything if you just going into whatever and the dog and you beat them easy. Some guys will, you know, they like it because they got the win, you know, but that's not, you know, a lot of times you're testing yourself. It's not just your dog, you know. So you want to see how you can do against something that's really good, you know. So the top guys want to go into top guys, and I tried to do that. Every once in a while you go into somebody that's not that experienced, or you have no say-so in the matter. If you're in a convention, you know, they bring whatever dog they want, as long as the weight is right. It's whoever, you know.
Now, if I don't, I like to add on because I just answered the question like you said, like, and who my first match was into. Now to go off of what Brother Garcia was just saying, I'm not a pick and choose type of dude. I hate that shit, man. I think, here's my thing. Just because the so-called named dogmen or even dogs are supposed to be quote unquote the best. I mean, you talking about hundreds of thousands of dogs and dog men, and you picking and choosing who Sporting Dog Journal said, or Scratchback, or whatever the damn magazine says is the best one. That don't mean shit if they won't bet for $500. If they won't bet for 500 or 300 or 7 or whatever it is, and their shit is only going to go out for 10, 20, or, you know, whatever the price is, you can big dog a person with a better dog and say you got a better dog, but that's bullshit. It's just your price is higher. So my thing was really just a wait and a date. I didn't give a fuck who it is. I mean, because it's like a person saying dumb shit like, well, I'm not going into your shit if it's the first time out. Well, goddamn, Tyrone was the first time out. Big Red was the first time out. Goddamn it, at one time. Shit. But that don't mean it wouldn't have beat your grand champion's ass. The fact is, a lot of times I'd rather go. I'm scared of the first time out than the Grand Champ, because the Grand Champ got a whole lot of scar tissue on his ass, whole lot of wear and tear. He's just dying to quit, dying to get fucked up, because he ain't got but so many in him. None of them do. So when you got this young motherfucker that ain't got that much scar tissue and whole world in front of him, you know, that's the one you need to be way more scared of, not that so-called badass Grand Champion. You see that shit happen just with the rest of them, would it be Ali's and rest of them, when they ready to go, and it ain't gonna take much to do it, to beat their ass. Because they really, that's it. Damn near the keep on that last keep made them damn near quit. Fuck the goddamn dog. They barely made it through the last keep you put them in, and they like, shit, I'll be glad when this shit's over with. So all that shit about going into the baddest fucking dogs, what do that even mean? That's just the dogs you fucking know. You don't know what Billy around the corner got, and his shit then killed 6 motherfuckers in rows, and you saying you won't go into him because he ain't a named fucking kennel, or he don't have a named dog. Fuck all that. Give me the weight and the date. So I just wanted to clarify. I was not going for no so-called big name. I never did that through my whole time. Now I tell you what I did do, and I'm gonna get off of it. I went after anybody that had nigger, spook, blackie, all that old racist shit. I wanted to go into every racist white motherfucker I seen. Being honest with you, when I first got in the dogs, I went after every one of them motherfuckers, like the shit that had that shit they was putting in there. I said, if this ain't the most racist shit, who are these pussies? And I wanted to go after them. Anybody that had that shit, and they was pushing them dogs with nigger and all that, that's who I wanted. That's who I was going after. So I was really running after that shit. Being honest with you. So, yes, but in terms of all of that, the big so-called dog, man, all that shit is what we put them at. That don't mean shit. That don't mean they dog shit. Just because a motherfucker say he won so many fights, that don't mean shit.
Sidebar too, like motherfuckers that try to price you out too. You know.
That's what I said. That's what I just told you.
Hell yeah, they're fucking 20 bands and up. Like, come on, man.
Right.
Everybody ain't fucking no dope boy. Motherfuckers go to work too. You feel me? 20 bands. That's 2 years worth of fucking school for my kids, homie.
Well, that's just like Ram. That's just what like what they do in boxing and shit. You know, motherfucker don't want to fight the dude he's supposed to fight. He say some crazy shit like, "Oh, well, I gotta get a certain amount of the money and some shit outlandish shit where you know he ain't gonna agree to it. So you can say that the motherfucker ducked you or something, but in reality, you price yourself out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Of course.
Hell yeah. And a lot of the new guys who like brother Bach was just saying to Mr. Garcia, like the motherfucker with a few dogs be the ones you really gotta look out for. You know?
Yeah. If you look at the history, if you fall even, you know, reading Sporting Dog Journal, or if you've been in it a while and you get around, you know, and there's no disrespect to anybody. Most of the shows you see, the dogs are average. And the average time, you know, most of the ways that they end is quitting, and the average time. I forgot somebody did that, but he did over a year's time, did all the matches. Most of them quit, and the average time was 45 minutes. You know. Yep. And you know, I can say that because I've been to a lot of shows and seen a lot. You could have a 10 match show, 8 match, 11, 16. Still, even in that show, there's going to be 1, 2, maybe 4, maybe 5 dogs that stand out. And the rest of them, which is over half, are just average or below average. And it could be one dog dominates the other. His opponent was just average. He's a better dog. You know, it could be both of them were average. It could be, you know, just the conditioning is average or whatever it is. But there's not a lot of dogs that stand out throughout history that are, you know, above average or real good or great dogs. You know, as you go higher up in quality, it gets less and less. That's just the nature of the beast. That's nature itself, you know. And that's not to take away anybody who gets in there. I don't care if you win, lose, draw, quit, game, dead game, whatever. I respect them because they're doing what 99% of the people that talk, they did it. You know, and a lot of the critics, they didn't do shit, You know, it's easy to knock somebody. Oh, this dog, that. Well, what the fuck did you do? You know,
Yes, sir.
what's your record? If somebody is critiquing someone and they have experience and they've been there and done that, I'll listen to them, you know. But a lot of them ain't, you know. That's one of the downfalls of social media. But to get back on track, you know, the dogs that stand out, that's why you really appreciate them, because there ain't a lot of them in the overall picture, you know.
Right. Agreed.
Yes, sir. Easy Custom 22 in the super chat. Appreciate the love, man. He says panel history. How long were you in the game, or what match was what match was it that you knew you were on a different level? We can start with you, brother Bot.
What match was I personally at?
Yes.
That I seen or I had?
What match were you in?
That you had.
Well, let me say this, because I had this conversation all the time. I wasn't the guy that was going out 16 times a year just to say I went out 16 times a year, because me, in my eyes, I didn't have 16 goddamn type of dogs that I felt was worthy of going and buy me one open class only without picking and choosing. I only took out world class animals, meaning I'm not trying to go lose shit. So it doesn't. So every dog that I used was on another level, because I wasn't gonna take out no B or C class dogs. I might have 70 dogs in the yard, and I only felt like I had 16 worthy, or 14 worthy dogs, or 10 worthy dogs. That they could be honest, it might with about 8 to 9 worthy dogs that I felt can go out into the world and represent, that I would go with. So, I mean, of course, everybody's gonna hear Tyrone. You know, that's the first name, or they'll hear Rick Rude, or some of those famous dogs. But I'm saying, shit, Bruno's. I mean, every damn dog that was using. If that took them out, I took them out for open class, meaning I'm going into the top dog, man. So I'm looking for them to have their A game. So I would say every dog that I took out, I felt was on another level.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Yeah, that's something in I'm glad Bach said that, because that's something it covers all sports where they use animals. You know, there's guys in the birds, horse guys, they only take out the very best.
Right.
And they might have a lot of numbers, but
right.
That doesn't mean they're just going to throw out whatever, you know,
Nope.
whatever they got.
Nope.
You know, and that's typical. You ain't going to have 100 dogs and 90 of them be good.
Hell no.
Or even above average.
Mm-mm.
You may only have 10 good ones that you consider worthy.
Yep.
Well, you're going to work with them 10.
That's
because
right.
That's just the laws of nature. That's just the way it is. You can't get
right.
a high percentage of top quality animals, athletes, no matter how you breed or what you're using or like that. You know, that's why, you know, like I said earlier, there's a lot of average matches, because guys will use, you know, if they think they can win, you know, they'll go try, you know.
Right.
But that doesn't mean that that's a top quality dog, you know.
And real
like
quick,
said,
just while you there, Garcia, I mean, because a lot of people, what you're alluding to as well, is like, for instance, you have guys like the earlier person said about who the top conditioners are. These conditioners that are that elite, they can say, fuck it, I can take that C or B class and I can compete with the A class because I'm going on my conditioning alone.
Yeah.
And some of those guys that are so good, they're that good to fucking pull it off a lot of times. I'm being honest.
That's true.
Okay, so I'm just saying, but for those that are, say, good conditioners, but not Tudors and Mayfields and, you know, shit like that, they gonna get their ass kicked going into an A class dog just thinking they conditioners that good unless they super elite. And then they still gambling going against an A class hell of a dog still with a good keep. I'm sorry, but go ahead, brother.
No, a good point. You're exactly right. That's what happens, because, you know, and I'm not bragging on myself, but a lot of times that's what I did. You know, I got a good solid dog. He ain't no top killer, nothing like that.
Right.
You know, he might have good finish. He may not have a lot of mouth. He may be strong and fast, this and that. And I'm banking on my conditioning being better than my opponent. even
Right.
against top guys, even against dogs that I seen, you know, that other people and myself thought, hey, that's a good dog, you know. So yeah, you can do that, you know. But if you're a top conditioner and the other guy's a top conditioner and he's got a better dog,
Yep.
and he knows how to handle, you probably gonna lose, you know.
Correct.
You can't bucket that much. But yeah, that happens. You're exactly right, Bob. That happens, man. They went on condition. It's like Mr. Gray. He always says, you know, he always used to say, anyway, he's retired now, but he always said, you may beat me with a better dog, but you ain't gonna beat me on condition. So
That's
depending
right.
on what dog you brought, and I've seen him do it, and I've seen him take superior dog and just clean up, and I've seen him take just what you would consider maybe an above average dog and out condition the other person and win that way. It might take him a while to do it, but he's there 2-3 hours, whatever it is, you know. So yeah, that's fact right there.
Yes, indeed. Ram, let's go you, man.
Shit, I had to say when I knew it had to have been one and only time I won best in show. And I ain't even bring a number 2 with me. I was just, you know, full of bravado and motherfucking cum. Like, fuck it, I'll do it by myself. I'll pick my number 2 out the crowd. And went into a dog going out for number 4. It made that shit look dumb as hell. Just bit it down with some of that old El Diablo Negro shit. And I was like, okay, yeah, my conditioning is together. My eye for a dog is together. My confidence is up. I'm ready, you know. That's when I knew, you know, I could compete with the best of them because it was like an 8-card show, you know. So, yeah, and I was taking her out first time out. But again, like Brother Bach was saying, I called the weight in the date. You don't know who you're going into. It's fun like that. You don't know what you're going to get. You might get the best dog ever to stand across from. You know, you beat that. You made some good history. You made a name for yourself. If you lose to that shit, you were supposed to. That's a badass fucking dog. So, yeah, I had to say that match when I won with Champion Patrick.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, my first match
That
was
one did it for me.
Was against an old dog guy. He probably had dog for 20 years. It was my first time. I didn't know shit. I was, you know, I had no help, you know, and he brought a 3-time winner and I lost, you know. I almost got him, but I lost, you know, if that makes sense. But and I didn't know who the female he was using was. And he told me after the match, he goes, you know, Richard, she's a 4-time winner now. And I said, it don't matter to me, Benny. I came to win, man. I came to fight. So you get what you get. But it, you know, in that respect, it helped me because I could see, okay, this is what I'm gonna go against. I better learn, and I better learn quick, you know. And it took me a while, but you know, once you get up there, you're confident. You know, if you don't go to win, don't go.
That's right.
Don't go. You ain't there to match a dog. You're there to win, and you have that confidence, and your dog will feel that confidence when you touch them. And if you ain't confident, if you don't have faith in your dog, they're gonna feel that too, man. It might make a difference.
Dog will be like, "Oh man, what the fuck,
shit,
man?
You don't even want to win. You want me to win, you know?"
Right? Well,
It's just they're that way. They're so in tune that it could make a difference. You know, a good dog don't matter, you know. But there's 100 different things that could happen before that could throw them off, and that's a whole nother, you know, topic if we want to get on it. You know, people, you name it, and anything could happen. That's why I always stress and I always reiterate to people: socialize them, do this, get them used to loud noises, funky colors, and different surfaces, and different people. Drive them around and get them, you know, because I've seen it happen. It'll throw them off. They won't even start. I've seen it in birds. I've seen it in horses. I've seen it in dogs. They freak out. Because why? Because some bright lights they ain't used to. Because the crowd, the noise they ain't used to. Because the surface, they ain't never been on carpet, you know, on grass or cement or something. Once something like that happens, it's hard to get them back on track. And there's some that don't care. They may be squirrely, freaky, scared, whatever. You face them up, they'll go, man. They don't give a shit. But, you know, like I said, that's another topic. I kind of got off track there.
No, it's all good. All good. Another question they had for the panel was, With so much paper hanging going on over the years, which bloodlines or breeders did you guys trust with the paperwork? We'll start with you, Brother Bach.
None. And I'm gonna tell you why. First of all, who, first of all, I'm one of those type that even though I'm a historian, and when in college, my thing was in psychology, what my degree is in. Mine was in history as well, but being as though history is always his story, is a whole lot in between his story and the truth. And that can go with religion, that can go with all type of shit. Whatever you're into, and you got to believe something of the past, and then you might don't have no true evidence of it being true. Then you have to go on belief, and I don't believe shit that I can't really just about see, or or show some facts to it. So, with that stating, paper been given to dogs since what, the 1800s, the 19, whatever they start the registry shit in the 1900s or whatever. Okay, I can't go back that far to say I know anybody from 1900 because I wasn't born to be able to see if his shit was real, then to see because somebody got it from him to see if it was real. And so what I'm saying, the paperwork has been always fucked up. That's why I told you I stopped going with trying to line my shit up. In the early interview I did was saying, or was talking there about, I just was chasing Black Widow and it didn't matter what the names came afterwards. Two, I started chasing traits. So that left me alone from this goddamn peds chasing and sitting up all night looking at 50 peds in front of me before they had internet and social shit that you can look on Peds Online. I had the actual 6th generation papers in front of me, 40 or 50 on the brown, sleep looking at, trying to get the pattern of doing the Betty Crocker recipe that keeps working so I can get a continuous. So what I said, fuck all that. Since the papers, they might say, well, Gardner fucked with papers, or Pat Patrick was fucking with papers, or David Tant was whatever. Shit, fuck, who wasn't fucking with papers? That's my thing. Who wasn't? Then you might get this so-called person that's truly true that never fucked the papers up, but his papers was fucked up. So it don't make a difference if he did or it happened before him. The papers is off. So I can't go by that regardless. So I go by the traits. So no, I don't go by bloodlines any longer. I can't tell you what shit is real from fake. Neither can you or nobody on this panel, because nobody was there when the first fucking dogs came from Ireland to here or whatever. We wasn't there. We can't know what shit is. You just go by what you got in front of you or a family that you know of. So for instance, if Garcia has Schoolboy Red shit, I don't know if his shit's bred that way. It's bred that way according to, maybe if he bred according to the 2 dogs he thought was bred that way. Okay? But he can't say Big Red was bred shit like that because he wasn't there to see all the dogs before that. I'm just giving that example. But Garcia bred Big Red. I mean, he had Big Red, and then he bred a lot of badass motherfucker produce. I wouldn't need to know what the fuck if it's really Jeep Red Boy or not. It wouldn't matter to me. I know if I get some shit off that dog, there's a good possibility I'm gonna have a continuous line of good shit like he had. And that's all will be sufficient for me. I'm not worried about what's true in that pedigree. I'm looking at his producing good damn dogs. So that I would go that way. I would jump on that type of shit. A person who got a family of dogs that has a good reputation of winning, then I would go that than say I'm going with a so-called paperwork, because all of them are false, if you ask me.
All right. Schoolboy, let's go to you.
Yeah, well, what Bach is saying is true. Again, and I tell people that behind what my dogs are, I don't know. Yep. I had one female, and my buddy gave to me. She was an inbred daughter of Jeep, and he came up to me. It was Dunleavy, and he comes after he gave her to me, and I made a breeding, this and that, He comes up and he goes, Richard, she's not really bred that way. And the difference was, right, instead of being off a Rascal Junior, Rascal Honey Bunch, she was off a Odison Honey Bunch. So he said that's the way she really bred. I just told him, I don't care, Steve. Don't matter. As long as my shit's straight from here forward, that's what it is. I know how my dogs were bred. Behind that, I don't know. And there's so many, right, like Bach said, going back to the dogs were first registered 1890 or 1898, right?
Yep.
Pit Bull, UKC. If you go back to them peds, what you're going to see behind that is unknown breeding. Breeding unknown. Unknown. They knew who they got the dog from back in Ireland. They knew where it came from. But as far as how it's bred, they didn't know. Now, the guys either didn't know their self when they sent them the dog because they're illiterate. They can't write a pedigree down, or they didn't want them to know and they weren't going to tell them.
That's right.
So, and you see that in chickens a lot more than dogs, where, you know, they're not going to let you know. They don't want you to know. And in the chicken community, it's accepted that they don't care. That's fine. As long as I got this bird from Thomas Murphy, I'm fine with it. Don't matter how it's bred. With dogs, people a little bit different, but the record going back, fake peds and this and that and blah, blah, blah. It's all over the place. Name somebody. You follow online and you know, hear people talk, well, it's this and that. I've heard 3 or 4 different breedings, you know, of one dog, all different, not even close. So who the hell knows? You just, you know, you go with what's in front of you, you know. I always trusted Boyle because he was just that way. I know OTK's dog because they come from mine. So I can follow his, you know. I can say, well, you know, he started with my stuff. He bred this and that. Okay. Some of them I helped him breed. Some I was there. But, you know, there's no reason for him to lie to me. Now, whether he did or not, I don't know. But there's so much of that going on that you better just follow the trait. You're better off like that. And I've said this before. If you had a bunch of dogs and you didn't know how they were bred, could you make good dogs out of that? If you're a breeder, yeah, it don't matter. You're going to use the best ones. You're going to follow the traits. You're going to watch them. You're going to breed the ones you like and the ones that prove themselves or whatever. And you're still going to have good dogs, whether you wrote a pedigree down or never wrote nothing down. They're going to be consistent if you know what you're doing. You know how to breed dogs. You know how to select. You know how to choose. You like certain traits. You want to keep them going. So in that respect, it don't matter. It don't matter what the pedigree says. I stopped worrying it a long time ago. Like Box said, I don't give a shit. If it comes from this dude and I like his dogs and I've seen them or I seen that male, that's why I always said back in the day, you know, if I was breeding outside my yard to a male, I saw it go. So I could see with my own 2 eyes and judge them, you know, in a match or whatever. And if I liked them, I'm going to breed to them. It's that simple. So yeah, there's a lot to that, you know. Maurice Carver, at least he was honest and said, I ain't gonna tell you shit, you know. You want a pedigree? Here it is. do with whatever the fuck you want. Most people won't do that, you know. They're hanging paper, they want to sell puffs or whatever, you know. So they're gonna lie and not tell nobody. At least he had the guts to say, hey, you want it? Here it is.
Right. Like, who do you want the sire to be on this pup?
Yeah, like that, you know. Is that what you want? Okay, I'll write it down. Because if you think about it, let's say you like Carver dog, and you want his blood, and you like him, you seen him, whatever. But what does it matter? He's a good dog. It's still a Carver dog, however it is. There's a ton of them, you know. It ain't just Ironhead, it ain't just Stu Fowler, it ain't just Miss Spike, it ain't just this and that and that. I would say all of them. At least at some point they probably related some way, you know. Bully Son, you know. Miss Spike or Bully Son, Arch Missy, and all that, whatever it is, you know. So, you know, if you got a Carver dog, okay, it's a Carver dog. How it's bred, who the hell knows? My dog's behind them, I don't know, shit. I used to tell people that, I don't know. They tell me, Richard, you know, not bred that way. Okay, fine. You know, Miss Rage ain't really bred that way. Okay, give a shit. She was a bad bitch. I'm glad she's in my pets. If she is.
Right.
You know. So, you know. It's a good point you made, Bob.
Thanks, bro.
Welcome down, Rad. Big Stephen. What's your take, bro?
Man, I gotta agree with both of the OGs, and that's why I try to. If I do get a dog, I get it from a person who I could value their manhood and opinion in their eyes, and you know the shit that come with being the man that makes your word. And you know these dogs are bred from here, boom, forward, because I got her from you, and these the breedings you did. Whatever you did behind that, or whoever did what behind that, rather, fuck, I don't fucking know, man. All that shit could be fucking bullshit lies. Good dog is a fucking good dog, you know. So from the man like Brother Bach, we was talking last week, and I didn't even know how your dog was bred, and I'm lining up to buy a pup from him. I ain't even care. You like, I ain't show you, nah, man, because I'm getting it from you, a legit dog man.
Right,
That's what's important to me.
Right.
I got a better chance of getting a good dog from you.
Right.
Don't give a fuck how it's bred than a motherfucker who advertising fucking on Facebook and got the pedigrees all out, you know.
Yeah.
Who's to say his shit bred like that? I go off the merits and the work that, you know, brothers like Mr. Garcia and Mr. Bakary put in. I judge a man's character with the dogs off of that, you know?
Yeah.
Because they don't know the person they got the dogs from. Thank you. They got the dogs from. He could have been lied to, you know?
Yeah.
That's why I be on LPK George ass. He lied to me one time on the pedigree. And didn't have to. The dogs is good dogs, man. Shit. I ain't give a fuck how that shit bred. I fucking love this dog, you know? You don't gotta fucking lie on that shit for whatever reason you lied for. Fuck that shit, dude. Fucking be a man. A good dog is gonna be a good dog. Like, look at Whiskey. She had fucking Amstaff in her. Couldn't nothing get past the bitch. Bitch won 5, you know, only reported 4. Fucking grand champ. Hell fucking yeah, I'll breathe to that shit. I don't give a fuck if he got that staff in there for a kicker. Let's go.
Yeah, if more people did that, they'd be, you know, once you get your dog, it's up to you. Keep them straight. Keep the breeding straight if you want. You want to lie, then be a fucking liar. But if you go looking for a dog from someone that you like, has a good reputation, has a track record behind them, what does it matter? You know, at some point they all related. You know, they all got COLBY blood. They all got Liner. They all got DIBO. They all got whatever. So you go back far enough. You know, there's only honestly, you know, when they started with the breed, there's only a handful of dogs that were used. If you look at the big picture, you know, maybe it was 100, 200, 500. That ain't shit.
Right.
That's nothing as far as breeding goes. You know, the blood gonna go all back to them same dogs. That's why we talk about them, because that's all there is.
That's right.
Yes, sir. Let's see what we got here. Smooth Monty back in that super chat, showing love. Salute, man. He says, as was told to me by an old timer, you will get papers, but may not get the recipe. Yes, indeed.
Yeah, that's what Carver said. You know, and that's what I mean.
Sir.
He was honest. He was honest about lying. You know, if you want to look at it that way,
Right?
That's what he would tell you.
Gotta respect that.
Yeah. You know, they can't do it with horses so much because they have to have someone there when they make a breeding, so they register it correctly and all that. You know, but with chickens, shit, half of them they don't even know how their own birds are bred on the female side because they flock breed. They throw a male, you know, a cock in there with a bunch of hens, and they know who the daddy is, but they don't know who the mama is. They all half brothers, but they don't know, you know, which female threw this. What, you know, when the chicks hatch, they're all running around. You know, they're all the same pen. So, you know, they just care about eating, man.
Just look for working stock. And I mean working stock, not just shit that's going out and losing. Like, get some shit that win more than it lose. That's real good working stock. And just go from there, man. You know, breed off the traits like OG Schoolboy and OG Bach was just saying. Follow those traits and fuck the pedigree, you know.
Yep.
Yes,
so I had fucking Eli dogs down from Frisco with just a little bit of toughy in them, and them motherfuckers is toughy dogs. They just got an Eli pedigree. Those traits of toughy overpowered everybody else in the rest of the dog pedigree. And my partner who had those dogs would just breed those dogs for those traits. The pedigree is correct from the time he got them on forward, but the dog don't fight like Nan Dog in the pedigree other than toughy, you know? So follow those traits, man. Because even if the pet is correct, the dog might not be like that. You know, the traits might kick up from some shit in his 8th generation that they use for an out. But it's dominant in the dog you got now, you know? So follow the traits, bro. And get dogs from motherfuckers who don't give a fuck about, ain't got no reason to lie on the pedigree. Either you want the shit or you don't. You know, fuck with them type of guys.
Yeah.
Right. Bulldog Kid in the super chat, salute, fam. He says, salute, brothers. Been a minute. He says, when conditioning, how do you find the perfect balance between wet and dry when shaping a dog? Mr. Garcia, you want to take that one?
Yeah. Honestly, I pretty much did them all the same. You know, sometimes the weather can be a factor. You know, if it's real warm and dry or humid, you know, you might want to bring them in a little drier, you know, a little lighter. But you know, my mentality was, you know, like old Freddie Brown, he was a boxing trainer. You know, you either in shape or you ain't. And I didn't travel a lot. I think the longest I went was 9 hours away. You know, a lot of 6 hours, 5 hours like that. You know, 300-400 miles like that. But seeing some of the guys that I named, you know, a lot of them, not a lot of them, but some of them, it didn't make a difference. It didn't matter if they were fighting at 100-degree elevation or 12,000 feet. You know, I mean, 100 feet elevation or 12,000 feet. They conditioned the dogs the same. You know, as far as wet and dry, when I say dry, you know, that doesn't mean that they're dehydrated. Dogs need moisture. They gotta have it. If they have too much, that's not good either. They could run hot and not recoup from it. You know, if they're too dry, they're going to be weak and they have nothing inside them as far as their internal organs. If they're too dry, it's hard for them to recoup afterwards, to survive afterwards. So there's a balance. Everybody says, you know, you want a 2 count, 3 count, or something like that. If it you know, if you pull the skin, you know, the skin and it pops back too fast, they're too dry. But when you condition dogs, they go off their water if during the peak, when you're picking them out. They just do that. I don't know the science behind it, and I don't know, and it doesn't matter whether it's a bird, a horse, a dog, a human. You know, you don't feel like because your blood count is so high. That's what I would say, maybe, is that you don't feel like the dog won't drink water. So the way to combat that, so that they're not too dry, is you add some water to the feed. You know, especially in cold weather. In cold weather, a dog ain't gonna drink anyway because the water's too cold. You know, they just won't drink it. But when you condition them, they'll do that naturally. They go off their water. They just don't. It's part of the conditioning. Like I said, I don't know the science. I just know the effects of it. I know, you know, I always paid attention to what the result was. So there's some guys will say, I'll bring them in wet. It doesn't matter. They run hot. They go through it and they recoup, you know. Well, I understand that, you know, because you want them hydrated. But during that period that they're recouping, you know, you can get fucked up. And then you may not be able to come back. If they're too dry, they're gonna fall out at some point, and they're not gonna be able to recoup because they get weak without that moisture. And that's when, you know, you'll see kidney shut down, organ failure, you know. So it's a balance. And the only thing I would say to anybody conditioning dogs, and it don't matter if you're doing it for a weight pull or the legal sports now, is just practice and see the results of it. See where you like them, at what weight, and how wet or how dry, and just go by that. You know, every dog's different. They always say that. That's true. But you want to try and be consistent in whatever you do. You know, some people it's a science to it. You know, and they got it down, and they'll do this and that, and you know, bless them for that. That's great. Others, they just do it pretty much the same way, and they have consistency, because, you know, a lot of it is, you know, you're conditioned a dog and you pick up on these stuff and you notice things and you see things and you know the result, this and that. Maybe you can't even explain it very well, but you know what's happening. You know if your dog's in shape. You know if they're too wet or too dry. You know, so practice, practice, practice. Like I always say, that's the only way to figure it out. You know.
Sure. Salute to Felix Nunez in the super chat. Much love, much appreciation. Says, any thoughts on the Kentucky Derby horse dying? I didn't hear about that. Anybody heard about that?
No, I didn't hear anything. I didn't hear anything.
Yeah, I didn't hear nothing about that.
Do you know how it died, or just it doesn't say, huh?
No, he didn't
Died?
say. He just
Yeah,
it must be. They must be talking about it on ESPN or something. I didn't hear about it though.
Yeah. Sometimes some horses they'll push themselves so hard they'll bust their heart.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're game in that respect too.
Right.
And before, if there's a famous filly, she never lost. They call her the greatest filly in history. I forget her name, but she broke her leg during a race. They put her down right on the track. In the past, if a horse broke their leg, they put them down. Now they have, they're a little bit more, knowledgeable, and they can save a lot of horses, even with broken legs. But it was pretty standard. Once they broke their leg, they do it. And that filly, it was sad because, for the public to see it, because they didn't wait. They didn't want her to suffer, so they put her down right on the track.
Right.
So if he died, I'd like to know what the result was or why.
Yes, indeed. Max, Brother Bach, another question the panel was they had for the panel was do you think that the best dogs are overseas currently, since they're still over there, they're still matching in America that's illegal?
Well, that's like, let me just say this. It was illegal at one time with liquor, but that wasn't stopping the motherfuckers from having good-ass booze running all over the country. It was illegal to have marijuana all over the fucking states, but didn't stop from having bomb-ass weed all over the fucking place. So with that stated, we use that same parable for what I just stated with the dogs. Yes, I'm not taking anything away from over in places where it's a lot more friendly to do it. But if a person thinks going into the U.S. and it's gonna be sweet because they got some law that said you ain't supposed to do it, all they got to look at is America has the #1 population for people in prison, because everybody don't give a fuck about laws. Okay, so let's get that straight. So there's a whole lot of still good ass dogs running around in America. So I can't state that it's better dogs over in another place than it is in the U.S. I will never, ever say that. No.
Agreed. What you say, Ram?
And fuck no. There's a 6-time winner recently came over here, and that's where he fucking got his train stopped. He won 6 over there and got smacked up by a first-time outer over here. Big difference is level to this shit. And like I said before, like, just because you could do it over there, that means you're going to have more dogs than a motherfucker who can't. So the motherfucker who can't do it and he still want to do it, he only got room for the best of the best, And that's what he coming out with. So motherfucker only got 10 dogs. 8 of them probably match dogs, and the other 2 is probably the ones he bred to get the 8 match dogs. Whereas a motherfucker overseas might have fucking 100 dogs. Out of 100 dogs, like y'all both were just saying earlier, only 10 might be good. You know how long it's going to take to find that 10? Fuck out of here with that. Hell no, they American Pit Bull Terriers, not Russian, not Ukrainian, not none of that shit. More times than not, they get their hat handed back to them when they come over here with their bullshit, man.
And I could just say one thing with Brother Ram saying on that. No, I didn't mean to cut in, brother. I'm sorry.
No, you good,
even
OG,
to the point
ahead.
you're making, just like, for instance, in Mexico, and Brother Garcia should know this. We go over there and whip their ass way more than they was whipping ours. Let me just say that. All of the times I know we was going over in Mexico, we was hardly losing. Just being honest with you. They got good dogs over there, but we was winning a lot. Now, you got the Belline Club and all them back in the day that he was serious ass good dogs. There's a couple of serious families, but for the most part, we made out pretty good. I mean, like I said, Brother Garcia might know a little bit more. He was a little closer to that area. But I just know at the times that we did go to those conventions, we was able to show up and show out over there. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
And that go back to like Mr. Garcia said. Oh, my bad, OG, go ahead. But you were saying few shows back that they are dogs. They started here. We got more experience with them.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. No, you're right. That's exactly what I want to say. The dog came from here, you know, and like Bach was saying, you know, if you were to keep track, which just going, you know, off the top of my head, fanciers from the U.S. that went down to Mexico generally made out better than going down there and fighting in their spot, you know, than they did. And when they come up here, they didn't usually do too good because we had, you know, there's just so much experience with it, you know. It's like American football, you know. There may be other countries at some point want to pick it up, take it. They recruit good people, this and that, but you got all the coaches, all the history behind it, all the knowledge, experience, and all that. It's going to take them a long time before they even have a level to compete. So, and I even say this, you know, because everybody will say, you know, the dogs in the South better than the ones in the North, this and that. And well, where did the dogs come from? The North. All the dogs imported except for New Orleans, all of them come through the North. And if you go back in history, follow the books and follow this and that, generally when the North fought the South on whatever turf it was, the dogs from the North won because those guys had more experience. And the same thing throughout my time. If you have top competitors going into each other, generally the older guy who had years and years behind them, they beat the younger guys. Those guys they just know what they're doing. And you mentioned Bayonne Club. That's right. They were good.
Yeah.
Well, their main conditioner was from here. Wasn't from there. You know.
Exactly. That's true.
Yeah. So again, it's the American Pit Bull Terrier. It's from here. Breed ain't going nowhere. I ain't gonna point fingers at nobody because I don't know. But just from my own experience and knowledge, I know that the best dogs come from here. Even the guys who get them, you know, in Eastern Europe or Mexico or whatever, they got them from here.
Exactly.
You know? So I mean, how can, you know, nobody's gonna go build a Dodge, you know.
Hemi better than Dodge, you know. It's not gonna happen.
Even if you got the plans to do it, okay, you can make a Dodge engine, you can make a 6-point whatever it is, 2-liter, but you ain't gonna. The people that are building them here, they know everything about them. They know every nook and cranny and how to tweak it and this and that, blah blah blah, how to tune them and all that. You know,
you can't grow better weed than I got, and you got your weed from my clone. Like,
exactly.
Come on now.
Exactly. So that's just a common sense thing, you know. And it's not to knock anybody. I've seen some badass dogs all over, not all over the world, but in a lot of different places in the world. But on a whole, you know, percentage-wise, they're better here. They were, you know, and I don't think that would change. Even guys that have how you say, emigrated to different countries, that they're tops, you know. They ain't from Italy, they ain't from Spain, they ain't from Mexico, but they go down there and they whip everybody's ass, you know.
Right.
So yeah, and like I said, that's not the disrespect. I mean, there's some great dogs there. Everybody got, you know, right. It's just, that's a fact, you know. That's how you gonna get better than me if you got the shit from me, you know.
Correct. I mean, even in the DR, even in Dominican Republic, where they got a lot of good dogs, okay, they got some good ones in Puerto Rico. They got some good ones in the Virgin Islands. I mean, but like I said, look how many dogmen they got in them small ass islands. It's not a whole bunch.
Yeah.
It's not a whole bunch. So
no, they don't.
You know, and when you start looking at, I don't care if it's Panama, Nicaragua, Costa Rica. I mean, all of them places got dogs. El Salvador. I mean, you only have a few people there, so your competition is only going to be against a few people in there, and then you'll see where they got dog of the year and shit because they done beat 4 fucking people, 4 camps in that one ass country, and they say that motherfucker won 8. So, you know, you're like, woo, it's fucking You bring that same motherfucker come to America. He can't beat Billy that works at the fucking drugstore. Okay,
No, that's true.
I'm
Facts.
just being honest.
Beat my mama house, dog. Got on his
Right,
ass.
exactly.
Yeah.
I'm just not no disrespect to the brothers. I'm just telling you, I live out the country. I'm not even in America no more. So I'm telling you what I know. I seen some shit, and I be sitting up there, and they be talking about this is 6-time winner. I don't even fucking know names because I be looking like if everything I seen ain't a piece of shit, I don't know what to do. And I'm just telling you, not no disrespect because there's people might be listening.
Yeah,
but I'm telling you, man, no.
It's the truth. It's the truth.
Right.
If you in a country and you got 5 guys and they all competing with each other, or even if you got someone come from another country, you got 1 or 2 here, there, this, and that. They might do a whole shitload of dogs. It's still 5 guys or 10 guys. Well, back in my day, in my small town, there were 5 guys in this town doing it, and every little podunk town had somebody matching dog. The next town over had 15 guys that matched dogs. Not all, every month or anything like that. But they would, if they had a good one, they'd come out. And you go all up and down. Then you go to the neighboring states, this and that. Everywhere you went, there was somebody had something going on. So when you have, I don't know how many millions of people, but there's 330 million people in the U.S. Well, how many think are dog guys? Even if it's 100,000, that ain't shit. It's still a lot of guys compared to another country that got 10, 20, 50, 100 maybe. And
one other thing, Brother Garcia, to a thing you said, and I'm from up north, born and raised. It might have started from the north, but the baddest motherfuckers I seen is down south. Personally. Yeah. I get it. No, I seen shit up north.
And I would say because, they did a lot of fucking dogs, man. They had a lot of dogs. I've been all over. Right. I'm just saying that the knowledge the people up north had,
and it started there. I get that. Yeah. But I'm just saying, I'm from up north, and I'm saying all that Jersey, Delaware, Philly. I'm talking about New York, Maine, fucking Boston, Rhode Island, all of that shit. They got good dogs. When you start hitting past that Mason-Dixon line, they start getting great dogs. And I'm gonna tell you why. And I'm gonna tell you a lot of reasons why. First of all, a lot of times they didn't have to deal with the cold, not the cold like we did up north. So they didn't have no problems working they shit 365 days a year. Good. They don't have they fucking dogs in basements and kennel crates that ain't fucking get no sun harm. So they dogs is better looking, better health wise, and they're more physical and everything. Just a better fucking dog. And their work and the shit that they're able to work out with, actually Jennies. Who the fuck up north gonna have a Jenny? Most of the place you ain't got no fucking room to put a Jenny. You ain't got no dirt roads to run down. I'm from up north. I'm telling you now.
You're right. You're right. That's why they started using the treadmill because they they had no room. And
the treadmill ain't beating the dirt road no time of the week. Okay,
agreed.
So what I'm saying is, I'm from up north. I'm born and raised, and I didn't fucking been in the mid. I lived in the Midwest as well, and I didn't fucking seen dogs. A lot of places I done did them and refed them, and the quality of hounds. You fuck around in that goddamn Mississippi if you want to, Louisiana, Texas, You get what I'm saying? Texas, fuck around in Georgia, fuck around in Alabama. The fucking Carolinas, if you want to, and fucking in Virginias and shit, DC, Baltimore. You fuck around in them, all that shit past that makes this different, bro. And I'm just being honest with you. And out there with the West Coast. See, like I said, I'm gonna just say this: the West Coast. What I seen with the West Coast, different from the other places, they had what I call the more smarter fucking dogs. The West Coast had some of the most intelligent fucking dogs that I've seen in terms to combat the South. With all of the mouth that the South had, they had motherfucking so much bolio crossed up in that motherfucker. Like, okay, we gonna use your shit against you, type shit. So I mean, don't get it twisted, fucking around out west. You will get your ass knocked the fuck off because you better have a fucking super damn good dog, because they dogs know how to open, like you said, car doors, drive the motherfucking everything when you get down there with they shit.
Oh,
Yeah,
no, man. We ain't got no good dogs. Just we like to bet a lot. Y'all bring y'all money, man. We got a bunch of this
yeah.
hard
No, you're
biting,
right.
rough
You're
dumb
right.
motherfuckers.
You're right about that, Bach, because that's a
I'm
very
telling you.
good point, because that's in my mind, anyways, and the people I knew that had them, and me too had some of them. That was a reason for developing the Bolio blood. It was a contrast to that hard, rough, hard biting.
Yep.
Eli, Bully Son, Boomerang,
Yep.
that stuff. It directly, it's like boxing. You got a hard puncher, you got a good boxer. It's a contrasting style. And I've always felt that's, and people I talk to, that's why they did it. They wanted that intelligence. They wanted something to counter them killers.
Best I seen out west coast. The best I seen when it come to intelligent dogs. Them motherfuckers humans.
Yeah.
These
No,
motherfuckers do math homework and all.
Oh,
you right,
man.
No
though.
bullshit.
Yeah. No, it's true.
Yeah.
It's true. It's a trip
Yeah.
because they almost, like you said, they almost human. They talk to these motherfuckers and the dog do what they told.
I'm trying to tell you, man.
Yeah.
I'm trying to tell you.
Yeah. No, there's no doubt. There's no doubt that the South was the stronghold, and you're gonna get arguments on which state it was, whether it was from Texas, Alabama, Florida, South Carolina, North Carolina.
Right.
But yeah, it's just that competition was so heavy there that, and when you get at that level, how you not going to be, some of the best in the world, no matter what.
Right.
Just,
correct.
It's inevitable. And that's where everybody that, it's like they used to say, if you're going to test your dog, that go there, go to Louisiana. And like I said, first time I seen Ronnie Anderson, that's where it was at. He had champion Brutus, had champion Freebie, had champion Buck, a Tonka dog. Great shape. And it was hot. We went in August, man. And you could take a shower, like they always say, and dry yourself off and walk outside. You sweat, you're dripping again with sweat. And they're matching these dogs in them weather, and they go in short time, long time, excellent condition. They just know how to do it, and I can't argue, man. A lot of the most famous, best conditioners that I've seen, that's where they were from. If you're talking, like we said, Danny Burton or Ronnie Anderson, Mr. Gregg, Robert Kirkland, you name it, man. Maloney and a lot of guys, that's where they did it, man. But you'll get an argument which state. Oklahoma always arguing with Texas. We got better dogs. That's just natural. But no, that's back in the day, that South was the spot. And some guys from out here, like Tito and Steve Hendricks and Pineapple Kid, they would go out there, man. I never did.
But those guys you mentioned, they were bad boys.
Yeah.
Steve Hendricks, Tito, Pineapple Kid.
Yeah.
I mean, they were some bad boys.
Yeah. And that just, you want to test your mettle, go to the South,
Yes, indeed. Y'all hit that like button, ladies and gentlemen. Get the likes up. Oh shit. Hey, Ram, take over for me real quick, brother.
All right. Yeah, this is the funny part of the show now, man. You get to roast the motherfuckers. They go act up. Salute to everybody in the chat, though. What up, Dogman RT? The rest of the homies who came through. Hamza, see. What up, Mike Blanchard? Excuse me. There's a lot of people came through tonight. Salute, Mike Lee.
Yeah, there's a question for Bakri. What trait set Tyrone apart from others? And do you feel if he was in another dogman's hand, he would have achieved what he did with you, historically speaking?
Well, Tyrone's trait was he liked to dominate you. I mean, he was a little secret about Tyrone. I think I might have mentioned in one of my interviews. Tyrone was a dog. We had to make quick handles because after he carry your dog out, he want to put his dick in your dog's asshole. All right. Tyrone was the only male in the litter. He never had any male that he looked at that could dominate him. So he was dominant as a fucking puppy up. His shit was he gonna kill you accidentally, but he really just want to carry you out and fuck you. So even the stock we have of his, a lot of times, you have to, you know, they go through that process, and then what happens is when Tyrone turned 3 years old, that shit stopped. He just stopped it. He just wanted to kill you and fuck everything else. And some of the stock that I used of his, they're so dominant that's what they want to do. They want to curry you out and fuck you. So, you know, after you get the handle, you know, of course, if the dog move in and do it, they're going to go back and hit the motherfucker. But they very dominant, very domineering dogs. I mean, super dominant. And so of course, he had a good mouth, and he was very strong. It was looked like he was 3 times stronger. And even the stock that we use, they seem to always be super fucking strong. So his traits, like I said, he was dominating, strong, hard mouth. I mean, I did some shit to check his game this out that was fucking ridiculous, but so I know he wasn't going nowhere. But yeah, his traits was pretty much his hard mouth, very dominating, and he was also smart as fuck. I mean, he will hit you if you looked at his match reports. He'll break your muzzle, he'll bite your balls, your dick, take your teeth out your mouth, go to the bottom jaw. I mean, it was, you know, it wasn't no place he didn't like it. Just to finish the thing was he's gonna, like I said, as he got 3 years old, it just was strictly trying to finish you. I mean, it wasn't no just gonna curry you out, you know. So yeah, that's his traits. Like, yeah, his traits wasn't. I could never call Tyrone a finisher in his beginning stages. He would. Now, the only way you would get Tyrone to don't want to fuck you or nothing, even if you curried out, if you could outbite him and he felt like you hurt him, just like the traits of Paladin. Paladin didn't really get to fucking you up till you made him holler. As soon as you made that motherfucker holler, he gonna kill you. Well, that's pretty much why we always want to put Tyrone on the hardest killing the shit out, because you make him mad, and he fuck all that, he gonna dominate you and fuck you. He gonna then go to killing your ass. So, but at 3, all of that changes, and even my stock for some reason, once they hit 3, they're strictly just, you know, you're just gonna get killed by him. You know, that's all they want to do.
Yeah,
So,
they fully matured out, you know.
Correct. That's
got it on
their
their mind. They right. Fucking gangsters now. Like, fuck that, kill them.
Right, right.
We used to joke around back in the day. I want my dog to kill you, piss on you, shit on you, fuck you, and then eat you.
Right.
You know, it was like that.
That was,
you know.
You would get that with him.
Now, do you feel if he was in someone else's hands that
right? Let me just answer that part. Let me just finish that. Yeah. So in terms of, again, yeah, I don't give a fuck who would have had Tyrone, as long as you didn't do anything to hurt him, and just let him do his thing. You know, because even in working Tyrone out, Tyrone wasn't a dog that really wanted you. It's almost like he just let me get in the motherfucker. We ain't gonna be here long. But all that working, he did not like to work out. That wasn't something he liked to do. But for some reason, his offspring, the stock that we come down off him, loved to work. But he wasn't one. So he was just he would try you too. I mean, he was very headstrong. But so if the wrong person had him, just what I'm mentioning, Tyrone would try you. I mean, he was so alpha that for you to be in charge of him, you had to be a real alpha male, because he would look you in your eye. He might bite you. I mean, if you didn't feel like you was a man of men, you couldn't fuck with Tyrone, because he was just not for the average. So, well, I say yes, he could have worked in any real dog man's hands, but just to put him in, say, any pooty boot type of dog man, and really, no, he might challenge him and have that motherfucker feel like he might scared he gonna bite him. Right.
Yeah, he was a dog man's dog. What up, dog man? RTSC, homie. 88 Sports Talk, salute.
Yes, indeed. All right. Another question we got here is what is your opinion, the panel's opinion, on Eli strains from Mexico? Do you think there are any main differences between the strains in America? We can start with you, Mr. Garcia.
Well, they came from here, you know. Maybe maybe they concentrated more on that blood because, you know, if you look at it historically, you know, they didn't acquire a lot of variety. You know, if you start back even in the 50s, you know, whether it was a Colby dog or a Carver dog, bully son, it was just select few, you know. So from what I've seen in the past, the traits of both, lot of similarities, a lot of the same, because they come from the same blood, same dog, even throughout Mexico, you know, even when they added Stu Fowler, Red Lady, you know, stuff, or, you know, little gator stuff, you know, it's still dogs from here. And you know, even back then they had litter mates, the Midnight Cowboy and Rascal and Bully Son. Oh, there's another female in the Bully Son, Eli Jr. and Brendy litter. I forget her name, Loopy or something like that. So it's all the same stuff, you know, whether it came from Bobby Hall Carver, Witzel, Boudreaux, you know, Ken Click, you know, it's the same blood. And, you know, they I'm sure they followed the same traits. I seen dogs that looked just like Midnight Cowboy and Stomper. The two of them, I seen one was brindle, the other was red nose, but they were built like them. Same features. They fought the same way, rough, killing, short, squatty, you know, dogs. I see it's comparable to here. You know, I've seen those Eli dogs down there winning anywhere from 8 minutes to 20 minutes fast, you know, and I've seen the same up here. The only difference I would say is they didn't, you know, probably through their selection, they don't have a lot of big dogs. You know, it's very rare you're going to see even a 45-pounder. You know, most of them are smaller than that.
That's what I was going to say. Like, yeah. The Cardina stuff through T-Mac is smaller, but they fucking Eli dogs just smaller versions, so they be a little bit faster, you know. Kind of took after like the Black Widow traits more,
right?
The Carver side of the game.
Yeah. So, you know, you have that, but I would say they're comparable, you know, even in look. They may even, some people have even, like the Ledesma, he concentrated on that blood. They all look that way. They all short, squatty. You know, once in a while he'll get one going back to Hunter Red, which was long stuffy and long babies. Litter mates, they be a little bit more taller and red colored, you know. But you know, they love their black dogs down there, you know. And most of them are at least the basis of them were Eli dogs, you know, or Bully Son, Eli Jr. like that, Brandy, and that Cowboy Rascal like that.
Right. You got any experience with that, Brother Bach?
Brother Garcia just said it. You know, I always laugh when I hear a person tell me Mexican Eli. And I'm sitting there like, what the fuck does that mean? I mean, bro, that's like somebody saying up north Eli or fucking Midwest Eli or your Eli. I'm like, motherfuckers Eli. I mean, I don't get that. I mean, I mean that's like to say that. So when we had Clemens and you got Grinder Man, so you got different people right here, right in America, who've been specializing in fucking Eli shit. Even whether it be Townsend's and Case and all the other ones have been fucking breeding that shit for decades. Right in America. Good old Eli blood. Kimmers and all that shit. You mean to tell me just because we cross over the line, that changes the fact that they shit's supposed to be different than the shit there? I mean, this makes no sense. And so, I mean, you know, it's a lot I could say, but I'll just say this. Again, no disrespect to our Mexican brothers over there with it or any other place. And I'm not going to just biasly try to act like I'm talking about America because I'm from there. But what I'm stating is, it's just like me when I ask a person about a dog and they say, well, you know this dog champion Big Dick Lily. And I'm like, what the fuck is that? What is with the bloodline? Well, you know, it's all for Herman. I said, no, what does it go back to? Because me, I'm just going, okay, so what? Is a Bolio dog? Okay, bet, thanks. Because I don't know all these other people's names that you're about to tell me. It's a Bolio dog. So it's not gonna make a difference what the names you put on it coming to me. Or it's a Boyle's dog, or it's an Eli dog, or it's a Jeep dog, it's a REDBOY dog. I'm just saying, it's just easier to go with those. But all of the names that come on after it is like Mexican or European or even somebody else's name in America. I just want to know who the fuck is that off of? What's that basically off of? You know what I'm saying? So no, I can't say there's a difference, and no Eli dogs. No, I can't say there's a difference.
Yeah. That's I do the same thing, Buck. I ask, they tell me this and that. I just tell them I'm not familiar with the dogs up close. What does it go back to?
Right.
Okay.
Exactly.
You know.
Right.
And the other thing is, I said that to my friend when I first heard that, Mexican Eli, and I asked him, what is that? He goes, they're all Boudreaux dogs, man. What do you think it is? They ain't no. He didn't say there ain't no Mexican Eli, but he was like, he just laughed, like what do you mean Mexican Eli? Yeah,
right.
All Boudreaux. I mean, he came from Boudreaux, so that's what the basis is, if you want to call them that. Some people call them blind Billy dogs or whatever, but any Eli came from here. If you follow the traits, they're gonna retain them.
Yeah, it's just. I think it's a marketing ploy. You know what I mean? To sell pups and shit.
Could be. They for me, they look the same, perform the same. So as the ones I had and seen back in the day, same shit.
Right.
All right. Yeah, I laughed when Brother Box said, he want to look to see if it's a Bolio dog, because I remember Schoolboy told me the same shit. He's like, let me look back here and see what this is and shit.
Yeah. Right. Right.
All right. Ram, you answered that, right?
Yeah. Okay. I chimed in on part of Schoolboy answer and just said the only difference I seen was they was a little bit smaller, but performance-wise, the fucking same. They fucking Eli dogs get in there and fuck your whole world up if you ain't fucking serious with the shit.
Right. All right. Now, interesting question here. About to get a little controversial here. Old wise tales of the truth. All right. We're going to tackle some legends or myths or reality in the game dogs, which was, did all dog men cull their man biters? Did all dog men not breed to curs or cold dogs? Let me start with Brother Bach.
Just like anything else, there's truths, there's a whole bunch of lies. Now, when you first got into, I don't give a fuck what level or what year you got the dogs. It's always going to be the standard. Okay, most of us is going by Cajun rules, by this, that, and the other. You do this, that, and the other, and anything other than that is fucked up. So, going by that, what I'm saying is they'll say, well, every cur should be cold. No cold dogs should be bred. What's another good
man biters should be cold.
Man biters, all man biters occurs. Okay. They will occur out even if they won 18 fucking times, that eventually they occur out. Well, motherfucker, you say that about every goddamn dog we got. Okay. So, but they saying eventually you'll see him quit because he's a man biter. All right. So now, I already told you one of my hookups that I got rid of Rick Rude because I would have killed the motherfuckers. He would have killed my son. So, of course, depending upon if you got dependents in your house you have to protect, that's also going to mean, do I just kill this nice motherfucking dog that just happens to be a little bitey? He wants to bite anything other than me. That's going to be a personal choice. And then this comes, well, if I breed it, will I continue to breed man-biting dogs? Now, I've seen people breed man-biting dogs and have the most friendliest dogs in the world. I've seen two of the friendliest dogs in the world breed a man-biter. So I can't never say that there's a consistency with the belief that man-biters will reduce man-biters. Okay, so me personally, like I said, I'm going to get rid of man biter if I feel like it's going to be a liability to those in my place, or I live in a residency area, not the country. That if by chance this damn dog gets loose, he or she can hurt somebody, and I'm putting that fucking dog down for my neighbors. But again, if I live in a country on a lot of acres and there's nobody around, I ain't got no children or nothing in the place, am I gonna get rid of this great dog I have that shows me all the things I like? No, I'm not gonna put that fucking dog down. And yes, I will breed him, and I will just go closely on looking at what he produces. And if I found that he was or she was producing a line of man biters, and I would put all of them down and not breed them no more. That's what I would do in terms of the man biters. But in terms of people saying they don't breed, hell yeah, I bred cold dogs. Got some of the best shit I've ever seen. And people that I know bred cold dogs. And I'm gonna give you another thing. People that say, well, always breed to the best of the best. So if you seen grand champion so and so, and you could go to grand champion so and so or champion, breed it. Now, an old person told me and the shit, let them do that. They said what they know. They said what we should do is, if there's 7 dogs in this litter, and 5 of these motherfuckers bad as shit, one of them curved out, and the other one ain't a curve, but it has no fucking mouth, no ability, and just the piece of shit. The dude told me, breed to that motherfucker, fuck the other ones. And I said, why is that? He said, because most of the time the genetic gene pool is in that motherfucker. You have to ask yourself, why isn't he or she no good? When the fucking mother was great, the dad was great, the fucking litter's great, and this one ain't shit. Said that dog will produce better dogs than the motherfucking performing dogs. And I tried that, and the shit worked like a motherfucker. So everything, the rule of law and the dog game shit, don't breed a curs. How many fucking curs have produced the baddest shit we ever seen? Seriously. Because again, I'm gonna say this, it might not sound good. The 2 gamest dogs ain't gonna produce the 2. Don't have to mean they can produce the game litter. And 2 curs don't mean they fucking litter gonna be curs. The blood is the blood at the end of the day. So a lot of people not gonna say that. They're gonna always say kill the curs and fucking keep the, and to better the breed, to do this, that, up. I'm not here to fucking say nay to what they saying, but if you ask me, I do shit. I feed my own shit. I fed my own shit, did what the fuck I wanted to do. As long as my results was good, I didn't give a fuck about no standard of anything. I've been that way about anything outside of dogs as well. I'm not just doing shit because somebody else said that's the way it's supposed to be. You understand? So no, I done it all.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let me go to Mr. Garcia on that question.
Yeah, a lot of what Bach said, especially about the man biters, I was like him, I had them. I learned from them. The main thing I learned was how not to get bit, how to control them. You got to physically control them sometimes. If you ain't strong enough or man enough, whatever you want to say, they'll get you, And I tolerate them because how they were bred, this and that. You say, okay, that's just the nature of the blood. But at some point, I didn't tolerate them no more because I realized I could have good dogs without that trait. With that being said, that old wives' tale about man biters or curs, I don't know where it came from. It ain't true. Some of the gamest dogs I've seen were human aggressive and good athletes. So one don't have nothing to do with the other. So where that came from, I don't know. But in my experience, it ain't true. And another thing, I've seen heavily inbred Eli dogs or bully son dogs, that come from man biters, and through selective breeding, he just weeded the man biters out. You still may get one here and there, right? And you want to use them or don't use them, whatever. But you can do that too. You can move away from that trait. And I'm talking, you think if you concentrate on the blood, that would come out more. Well, if you breed selectively, you cull properly or whatever, and it don't mean they kill the dog. They just give them to someone else. Let them use it. So you can do that too, And one thing I'll say about here's my take on, curs and all that stuff. What I notice a lot of times is people talk and say, I don't breed no cur, I don't keep no cur, this and that. And then, you see them later on and they do keep them. They do breed to it.
Exactly.
So my thing is just say that, there ain't no one way to do anything. There ain't no best way. I'll say
That's right.
myself, if a dog quit, I didn't keep it. That's it. I'm not going to say I had the gamest dogs or all my dogs are dead game in my pedigrees. I'll just say the dogs in my pedigrees didn't quit. Okay. But there's the gene pool is so broad and there's so many facets to it, is you have to do like Fox said, go through them, keep the ones you like. But to say this is that way and that's it, that you can't do that. Because why would a cur throw a game dog? Because it's in his background. Because there's still game dogs there. He may not be throwing himself who quit. He may be throwing his mama, daddy, ancestors, whatever. So the only way to find out is to breed them and see and go like that. Because I don't care who you are, myself included, there's dogs that quit behind your pedigree. So when I hear people say, I got standard this and that, and find out that they not really beholden to it, they're just talking because that's what people want to hear, or they want to make it like there's something they're not or whatever. And me, I don't care. They do whatever the fuck they want. I don't judge nobody on how they keep dogs or why. If you want to keep a whole yard of curs, or you want to kill every dog that looks at you funny, that's your business. But to say it's this way and that way, and that's the way it is forever and all, no way. It ain't that way and nothing. There's too many factors involved where you can't say, this is that way and that's this way and that's it. It's solid. No, it's never been proven that. You can't do it. We don't even know where the hell game has come from. We just know when we see it, that's what it is. But you could do studies to the end of the earth. You ain't never going to pinpoint it because it's almost like an emotion. You can't prove that somebody loves you. You have to see it. They could lie to you. I love you. So what? Don't mean shit unless you see it. That's just the way it is. It's the same thing with dogs. When you see what's in front of you, then you judge it. But to say things that are this way, that way, there have been a lot of cur dogs produce great dogs. A lot of cold dogs produce great dogs. Whether I want to use them or not, that's my prerogative. But I can't say that that ain't true. Cold dogs don't produce. They have. They've been proven. People will tell you. I'm not saying they're going to brag on it, but they'll tell you the damn truth. That this dog was cold, even both of them cold. I bred them. I got some great dogs because, again, it's that gene pool is so broad. They're not pulling from themselves so much. They're pulling from their ancestors. So that's kind of my take on it. As far as man biters go, like I said, it was the same thing. Like Bob, if they're a liability, which I started having kids, this and that, I couldn't tolerate them because it was more important to protect my family and neighbors, this and that. But a lot of guys, they don't live that way. They didn't live that way. They were out in the country. This and that ain't gonna happen to them. They know how to handle man biters. Got a lot of good ones, a bunch of them. So that's an old wives' tale. Bullshit. Man biters.
Yeah. We talk. That's why I get frustrated a lot when we have these conversations. Usually, it's a lot of guys that they go by stuff that they hear and they regurgitate a lot of stuff, and they want to sound like they real dog men, so they regurgitate these myths or things that they think are true, and I get frustrated because they'll try to clown somebody because they think they know what's on somebody else's yard. I'm like, look, man, there's big name kennels out here right now that I know for a fact are breeding the balls off of dogs that's been stopped in rows, and they breed the shit out of these dogs, and everybody love to have the dogs in their pedigree and shit, and they bragging about it, but you don't even know this dog is technically a cur. You don't even know. You know what I'm saying? So it's like But the same people will have their dog and show it off and be like, yeah, never breed to a cur, man. Hey, man, curs are this and that. Like, bro, your dog was produced from a cur. But you don't know that. I'm just saying. But what's your thought on that, Ram?
Shit, as far as wise tales go, most of that shit be wrong. Touching on the man biting subject, shit, I done had some of the best man biters in the world, you know, on the yard at one point in time. Shit, the only pit bull in history to make it to shuts and 3 come off my yard, professional man biter. You feel me? Motherfuckers without kids, hell yeah, you gonna keep the man biter. It's not one yard that like a big yard I just stepped on where a motherfucker said ain't told me, hey, watch out, that one to grab you. Okay, cool. I just don't go by that motherfucker. He got a man biter on his yard, but he's such and such with champion and grand champion such and such. Oh well, he fucking know. You smart about it, you gonna tell everybody. Stay the fuck away from this one. You know, he locked up in the cage like Hannibal Lecter, and he still tell you watch out for him, you know. Most people who do end up with a man biter is responsible. It ain't just no little young punks running around with no dog they can't fucking handle. So the man biter myth is out the window. And like you were saying, this motherfucker's right now breeding shit that was stopped in school. You fucking drop out. Rom, you feel me? Motherfucker produce champions every time you breed to them.
Drop
again,
out,
yeah, that go back to, you know, motherfuckers being honest, getting dog from honest motherfuckers, and you can move forward with that because you don't fucking know what's going on behind the scenes. It was before I got out the game, it was a dog old chief cur ass I was schooling out for a partner of mine. He packed it up twice. And my partner kept that dog and shipped him off. And like you were saying, 7-8, motherfuckers got their standards and shit. And I'm looking at their pedigree like this motherfucker line bred on a dog that quit in my fucking house twice. You feel me? Right. Y'all love that shit though, you know? Part of the game. Motherfuckers gonna do what they want, bro, with the shit. It's up to you to be honest and truthful with what you do moving forward. Be it you, if you did breed a curve. Like I said on a couple shows back, I know a motherfucker for a fact bred 2 dogs who quit on the same show. Boom. Male and female. The bitch threw 2 champs. He took them home, bred them. Threw 2 champs, and they quit on all 4s. Wasn't hurt and was ahead, you know. Fucking curs, the rank cur, the worst type. Took them home, bred them. Out of fucking 3 dogs, 2 of them made champ. One of them was a cur. I still wouldn't take nothing off of him, but this shit fucking happens like that, man. He was at least honest enough to tell me, oh, no, these off for whoop. I kept them and bred them. Okay, cool. Shit, you went and got on motherfuckers' ass with the shit they quit. Fine. That's your shit. Your prerogative, do what you do. But, man, there's so many old wives' tales. The lockjaw is the one that still getting me, though. Like, fuck, where's the locking mechanism at? Like, it's just determination. Like, all pit bulls don't got mouth enough, hard enough to hold on for a long time. And biting on a person, that's easy. We fucking skin and bone. We ain't got no thick-ass fur, no hard, dense bone, none of that. A chihuahua will fuck a person up, you know? So, old wives' tales is just that. Old wives' tales, motherfucking bitches sitting around talking, lying to each other. Don't believe them. Yeah. See for yourself is the point I'm trying to make. That's where I get all my information and knowledge from, with just seeing for myself and paying attention. Because you could get, even on conditioning, I condition totally different than what Schoolboy would do, and he condition totally different than what Bach can do. And Bach gonna condition totally different than what I do. We still fucking made our fucking bones in the game, champions, best of show winners, good producing ROM dogs. There's no one way to, no set way to do nothing with these dogs is my point. Just do it the right way, you know, be honest and truthful. That's the right way with it. Be honest to yourself. If you think your shit occur or you see it's finna quit, don't pick it up in school. You know, let them quit right there for free. Shit like that, bro. Just keep it real, man. You get far in the game doing it like that, and that's it. That's the easiest route in the game. Ain't no shortcut. But keeping it real got me way further in the game, you know?
Yes, sir.
And just let me just say this too. I never bred to a fucking cur that I knew quit. I'm just say that. I'm not saying that it's all lies with people. I'm just saying it's just, you just hear certain things. But I'm saying there have been people Not matter of fact, Grand Champion. I said flop off of my 2 dogs that quit. That I would have put both down. The guy that I gave 2 pups to when they were younger, grew up, and his mom and sister loved both of them, bred them too. I had 70 dogs on the yard. Like I said, I couldn't beat none of the 7 that came off my shit. That came off 2 fucking curves. And that one became 8-time winner, Grand Champion, flop, 5-time best in show. Her brother, Shorty Red, that motherfucker was taking stomachs out and stopped everything. Went 2 hours of change with no teeth in his mouth. 6 years old, blind, and put a motherfucker down. I mean, they was the whole litter was like, I'm just saying, I would have never made the breed. I'm telling you. But I was mad as shit with my friend that did it. He bred 2 fucking curs off of my blood, and I couldn't stop her with no winners I had or buying winners from fucking Roger Crab. There was fighting head dogs. And they was curring them out. I'm just telling you, at a year old. I'm being honest.
You were trying to get rid of it, and you couldn't.
I was trying to get rid of the motherfuckers. I was ready to poison the motherfuckers.
That's how
you know
funny
what I mean?
the game is, though. 2 months to give you some of your best dogs, man. Shit that our standards wouldn't allow us to do at all.
Would not allow me to
do it. And you be like, God damn, man, give me them 2 goddamn dogs, man. Them fucking good ass dogs. What the fuck?
Hey,
so the game is like that, though. It's no set rule, no set standard. It's just little guidelines. That's what I like to call them, just guidelines. Just try to stay within these bounds, man. You know, if you could tweak it this way, your way, or this way, you know, that way, off good information you got, do that. Like, I got the game on conditioning from Robert Lamb and my partner, and I switched it to my way, what worked for me off all the shit I done learned and the new information I done got. Now, when I pass it on to the next generation of dog, man, they gonna take it further, you know? Supposed to do it that way.
Yeah, speaking of Robert Lim, he said something funny one time in one of them videos, had me cracking up. He said he's seen grand champions bred to grand champions, and the pups didn't have a growl and none of them. Like,
ain't not one growl, not nothing. Ain't even gonna look at you crazy if you go by the full bowl. It happens like that, you know. The dogs is the dog gods is funny like that.
Yeah.
Let me say something else there. You know, I said it before. I didn't keep dogs that quit. I didn't keep curs. But one of the reasons, and just one of the reasons, is, you know, not just me, but my immediate family. You know, we wouldn't treat them well. They wouldn't get the best care. They wouldn't. You know. They wouldn't be treated like just a regular dog should be treated. You know, we wouldn't like it. We wouldn't, you know, take care of it. So for me, a lot of it was just out of sight, out of mind. You know, I just that's the way I grew up. That was ingrained in my brain from my dad. You know, all the agriculture, livestock, and all of that. You know, if it's not quality, or if it's something you ain't using, not doing some kind of work or earning its keep, you know, we didn't keep anything. That just, I grew up that way. That's just me. I'm not judging anybody else, but a dog quit, and I kept it. I just wouldn't treat it right. I wouldn't get the best of care, and that's not fair to the dog if you want to look at it that way. You know,
yeah.
Other people do. That's fine. I know people that they keep her. They didn't care, man. They love their dog. They love a dog. It don't matter. You know, that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. So that's just something I wanted to say.
Yeah, it's like, because you lose a little bit of respect for them. It's like after your woman call the police on you, you're like, yeah, bitch, all right. Yeah, okay.
That's true. That's true. Hell, my wife, my kids, you know, they didn't like, if a dog quit, my son, he'd go over to one of the ones that did mess with them. He wouldn't mess with them. You know, he didn't like it. My wife, same way. Why would you keep him? Why are you gonna keep that? That just hurt, you know. And that comes from my family. She's been around my family since she was young, and so that kind of grew on her too. Like that. And she's seen the way we did things with all kinds of animals, and it just made sense to her. If it's not worthy, quote unquote, why would you keep it? Other people, they have a good reason for keeping it. That's good. So, like I said, I just want to throw that in.
Yes, sir. The Bulldog Kid in the Super Chat, salute family. He says, what's your definition of a cur, though? What if a dog that's a killer, but you've never seen him hunt deep? But he will kill a hog early. That's a good question. We talked about this a lot too.
That don't mean he a cur, you know. A lot of killers ain't curs.
How the
You
fuck is
feel
that a
me?
cur?
Yeah, a cur is a dog that start and then fucking quit. Like a dog fully started, and then for whatever reason he could be ahead and lose interest, no finish. He quit on top. He a cur, or he could be fucking getting sent to Pound Town and he fucking don't like it. I ain't built for this shit. I'm out of here. That's also a cur. But a dog that's just a killer, he's showing gameness. And this I got this game when I was young from the OG Carlton. He gave me the example of, you know, our two dogs going at it. You know, his dog on top, he ain't quitting. He trying to finish. My dog on the bottom taking the killer, he ain't trying to finish. Who's the cur? Who's less game? And, you know, my young man, I was like, shit, you know, shit, how can you see gameness and you winning? He like, nah, like, dogs have quit on top. He broke it down to me so it was so cold and profound that always stuck to me even now that I'm in my 40s. You know, I was in my 20s when I met the OG. And that shit was just so real, like, because I seen dogs be on your ass and be way ahead. And then when the motherfucking handle made, he's just standing there like, what? I did everything, you know? He's still a cur. Matter of fact, he the worst type of cur because he's not hurting at all. He's just fucking doing what he wanted. Now he stopped. I could kind of see a dog, you know, taking a killing and wanting to quit. Shit. Okay, fine. Shit. You feel me? But a dog that's not, that he's still a cur. Now, killers, you can't say they curs because it go back to what I was saying. He's showing his gameness, his willingness to finish you no matter what. And a lot of people, you know, ain't seen a dog with finish another dog. That's no easy task at all, you know. It's fucking hard as fuck to kill another fucking animal, let alone another game-bred animal, you know, that you contesting against. Shit's pretty fucking hard. So if you a killer doing that and you could do it in short order, that's a bad fucking dog, you know. You supposed to know anyway before you even go to his first outing if he game or not. Be it you got a 2, 3, 4 dog, hog tight a motherfucker mouth, whatever you got to do until you know you satisfied in your heart that he ain't gonna quit. If you ain't did that and he showed to be a cur because some shit could take it, then whose fault is that? You brought a badass cur out, but a cur nonetheless. He wasn't a killer, you know. Whereas killers will kill you, don't give a fuck. Fast, short, whatever. But go ahead.
No, I'm saying you can't punish a dog for making it look easy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You can't you know that's what, like I said when I was telling you ram about Bubba and shit. People used to say shit like, "Oh, that big goofy ass motherfucker, man. Somebody gonna be able to fuck with him one day. That big goofy motherfucker, man. You ain't never seen him even go 20 minutes, man. You don't know what that dog can do. I know he can kill your shit in 10 minutes. That's what I do know. You know what I'm saying?
And be back at the dog food bowl in 10 minutes after that, nigga.
Right. And it's like Floyd Mayweather. You can't say Floyd not a great fighter because you never seen him get beat up and he had to show you his Mickey Ward comeback Rocky story and shit. You know, he just whooped your ass.
Facts. Hey, perfect example. I always go back to this. You know, I talk about the shit I know. Red Jack and Yantas. Didn't know for a fucking shadow of a doubt how game Red Jack was because he fucking killed everything we put him on in short order. Pushing 5 pounds out of there, 10 pounds out of there, found 120 pounds bigger than him out of there. Shit is same size, but a head dog out of there. Like we cleaned up the yard in school with that. It wasn't until we got on some other high level shit that's just as game and smarter, which was in Grand Champion Yantas, that we got to see how game he really was, because he was still coming with half his fucking shit missing off his muzzle from the tip of his nose back to his eye, looked like Freddy Krueger pimp slapped his ass across the face. Still coming. I didn't fucking know how game he was until then, but we were still gonna take him out regardless, you know? If he happened to be game and a killer, that's a plus, but most of the time you don't get to see how game a killer is. Unless it's some shit like that, you know, you got to go into another great fucking dog again with a great camp behind him type shit. Just to see the gameness. We already knew he was a killer. The gameness was just a fucking perk. Yeah, but most killers is not curves because, you know, they really killers. They killing you with a purpose. They just got a lot of topside gameness. They on your ass because, again, motherfuckers will quit on top. That's what I got on it.
Brother Bach, what's your take on that, brother?
Well, it's already been talked about. They just said everything I'm basing. I mean, it's just, to me, it's a little net. It's like saying every puppy's a curse until a puppy shows itself to go 2 hours and 3 or 4 hours. Now it's not a curse. I mean, so if the puppy grows up to be an ace and all this shit goes under what they call time of showing if it's truly game, then that's a curse. So every pup's a curse, and every dog that's great then out there is a curse. So Tyrone's a curse because he never went an hour. So is Pit Generals and a lot of other ones, fucking Brothers Luther and a whole bunch of curves because they wasn't going long distance. So they had to be a curve. Even though nothing could curve them out, to show they was a curve, they was a curve. With that silly ass logic, the fact is, I feel like every one of these motherfuckers will quit with the right shit on them. You want to know the truth? Me, I've always said this. I'm gonna go dying saying the same thing. It's only a small percentage of dogs who will take their death knowing they're dying. There's a difference between knowing you dying and not. Just like a person. If I'm in a fight in a bar and this motherfucker hit me with the razor 50 times and I didn't feel not one slice, I'm fighting this motherfucker like all we doing is just, I'm going to leave this motherfucker, either he whip my ass or his. Not ever knowing that I may bleed to death in this motherfucker and not make it out of here. Now, once I start hearing and feeling, I'm getting weak and feel all this, see all that blood, there's a whole different fucking person than the one who was just fighting. Now, knowing there's a possibility of you dying, that's different. So when these dogs going 4 hours, bodies numb, don't feel shit, and they really not dying from the ass whipping, they dying from fucking organ failure. Okay? So you mean that motherfucker's gamer than a motherfucker to know he getting this shit, killing his ass shit, breaking shit apart, and this motherfucker's still in there and didn't quit in the hour? But the other motherfucker that went 4 hours and didn't quit, that one's gamer because it didn't know it was dying. But the other one, it could see it was dying and they might have got picked up. That motherfucker's less gamer than the other one. Bullshit. That motherfucker was getting fucked up and knowing he's dying by this motherfucker he knowing is killing versus the motherfuckers that's dying of fucking exhaustion. How you gonna say that's gamer? Because it went longer? Shit, that don't make no sense. So again, that's why I said there's a lot of people say a lot of dumb shit to me, and I look at it as that. No, I'm not gonna say no disrespect because I don't have no respect for people that make silly ass fucking things saying that. You know, so until the motherfucker curves out, then we can't call them a curve. If they started, and like you said, Ram, if a motherfucker stops and start, that's a curve. A cold dog who never stopped and start, how the fuck is that a curve? A puppy that didn't turn on yet, I guess we really calling that a curve. So
Man,
I'm just saying. You get what I'm saying?
You're a fool if you go on with that train and throw those
right.
For real.
So I'm just using it if we going with that theory. Okay, that their theory. Whoever makes that theory
I ain't saying you. Yeah. I know you ain't on that dumb shit.
I know what I know you didn't, but I'm just saying until something starts and stops is a curve. Again, my assumption of they all will curve with the right heat on them, that's just my assumption. That is not saying that's a fucking fact. I am not calling your dog you got who is deeply game a fucking curve and will curve. I'm just saying I believe, but belief don't mean shit. But in terms of until something like that ever happens, if your dog doesn't quit, for anybody to make assumption of their dog being a curve because it never went, as they call, 3-4 hours to see, like I said, that makes absolutely no sense to me.
That bring up another old wives' tale, like all hard biting dogs was curves.
Correct.
Oh right. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
What the fuck? How you figure that? How? You might have had a hard biting dog that quit, like that chief dog I was talking about. Hard bite, everything you want in a destroy your dog. Pack it up in 25, 30 minutes. Motherfucker, it's hard as fuck to get to that though with him.
Yeah, that was a stupid ass myth. I heard that in the late 80s. A dude said that hard biting dogs bite hard like that because they're trying. It's like curse snapping. They're trying to keep the other dog off of them and make you think that they tough. I'm like, that's some stupid shit to say.
No, yeah, curse snapping is curse snapping, and biting shit down is biting shit down. Them two different things, you know. You can get your eyeball curse snapped out, you know, but a motherfucker could crush your skull if he a hard biting face dog. It's a difference.
Yes, indeed. Mr. Garcia, what's your take on that?
The definition of a cur is a dog that quits. That's it. If you don't know the difference, you know, and that comes with experience, and you got to see a lot of them, this and that. There's a like Bach said, there's very few that won't and did. There you could say they're the exception. But when you know what quitting is, you don't question. Just like game, you don't question. You know what game-ness is, you don't question it. If you don't know what it is, you're going to be searching your whole life. You ain't never going to find it, you know. And the other thing about, you know, being a killing dog, you know, if you have a dog like that and he did what he did and you satisfied with him, you like him, you want to breed him, you know, that's all it is. I took this from a game foul dude a long time ago. His definition of gameness, it made sense. His definition of gameness was unquenching thirst to finish their opponent. Now, within that, it didn't matter to him if they was ahead, behind, rattled, broke leg, whatever. On top all the time, whatever. As long as they was trying to kill their opponent, that's all that mattered to him as far as gameness, you know. And that's why another reason why, you know, me and Bach agree on this finish is very important in Ram too. And a lot of guys I know, you got to have that trait. You want that trait. So it's simple for me. If the dog quits, and the dog quitting means the dog don't want to go. Doesn't mean he can't go. It doesn't mean, you know, if he could go, he would have. That's not a curse. But if they can go and they don't want to, that's a curse. That's it.
Yes, sir. And we're gonna leave it at this this week because we've been on here for 2.5 hours. I know everybody gotta get to bed and whatnot. You know what I mean? And I want to salute to the panel and thank y'all for joining. Legendary Schoolboy, Legendary Bakri, my brother Ram. Welcome down. Ram came back in here. Salute to the chat and the super chats. Make sure y'all go and
happy to be here.
Yes, sir, brother. We appreciate you being here. And make sure y'all go hit up Schoolboy on Facebook Messenger, and make sure y'all sign up. International Coalition Dog Registry. Make sure y'all get your dogs, do it registered, do that good stuff. And we'll see y'all next week, man. Ram, give us a disclaimer.
Man, as always, none of this shit is intended for, nor should it be used for any illegal purposes. We up here speaking from historical facts. Shit, all this shit is old, you know, back in our day type shit. You just, like Mr. Garcia said, we get caught in the moment and feel like we there again. But yeah, shit, early in the week, man, y'all be great this week. We're gonna be back for Friday too. So yeah, y'all come back, man, and just stay safe, stay smart, stay sharp. You feel me?
Yes, sir. Brother,
everybody.
All right, peace, y'all.